Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Morning, guys. How we doing?
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, my man across the table just got upstaged by the greatest tight end ever. You just took the back seat today. You used to play tight end. I want to remind everybody, this guy actually used to play tight. It was ages ago.
It was.
Prehistoric times. They didn't wear face masks.
I did not always sit on television and debate Skip Bayless. I did have a career before I had this second career.
That is news to me. Shocking. I'd forgotten that.
Had you?
Yeah.
I hadn't forgotten.
I was still celebrating Friday.
Yeah?
Somebody dropped 61 on someone's team.
Really? You were celebrating that? That's all you got?
Skip, I mean, don't you like good basketball? You love good basketball.
I like greatly officiated basketball.
Don't do that. Don't do
We
that.
lost because of the worst call in the history of offensive foul calls. Thank you.
You knew how to get him going, Shannon. We have a lot to get to on today's show. Like this, is Duke lucky or good? We'll talk about that game. And then why are we hearing more excuses from Shannon's guy, LeBron?
Why?
Ain't no excuse.
Why?
We're going to talk about the King, but we are going to start with some huge news from the NFL because Tom Brady's favorite target, well, he's left the building. Rob Gronkowski announced his retirement on Instagram yesterday, thanking the organization, Bill Belichick, and the fans in New England. Gronk was a 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, and won 3 Super Bowls. Only Randy Moss and Jerry Rice had more touchdown receptions before turning 30. So, Shannon, were you surprised by Gronk's announcement?
I was not. I think the injuries finally caught up with him, Skip. If you remember, he missed his entire senior year in college because of a back injury. So basically, he limped into the NFL. Last season, he limped into the season, and he kind of limped out of it. He was not, as we could see, the pounding that he was starting to take. And I don't care what any doctors tell you. The more they open your body up, the better it becomes. And we saw the surgery start coming with greater regularity. Skip, we had started to see him miss more games, and they were keeping him down for extended periods of time. And Gronk is only 29, about to be 30. Let that sink in now. In a normal life.
You played till 35. Okay, go ahead.
Played 14 years.
Yep.
He's a young man in normal walk of life. But because of the injury, he's an old. He actually older than Tom Brady, Skip. And Tom Brady is going into his 20th season.
I agree.
But because of the injuries that have befuddled Gronk, is that it just took its toll.
And it wasn't just on one part of the body, it was everything.
Part of the body. It started back, knee, ankle,
it was like
forearm, elbow.
Kobe at the end, except he had it the whole career.
And he's physically gifted, but he plays the game physical. Even though, Skip, the game is more spread out now, they do a lot more passing, but because of his size, Skip, there's only one way to get him down, and you have to chop him down like you do an oak. And eventually it caught up with him because they chopped on his knees and they chopped on his ankle, and eventually he just like, you know what? Yes, I probably could come back out here and play. But I can just imagine watching him on the field. Skip, that's 80,000 fans cheering for you. You know the adrenaline. Can you imagine what it takes for him to just get to the field? Can you imagine what the Wednesday and Thursday and Friday practices must be like for this man?
How many injections he took pregame?
He just said enough is enough. If you look at him this season, he only had 2 100-yard games. If you look at him in the playoffs, Skip, as you mentioned, the Rams game came down to one big play. You look at the Kansas City game, it came down to one big play. In the San Diego game, he was more of a runner. A run blocker. And could he still dominate games? Yeah, but it was sporadic. He couldn't summons up and have that because of the injuries. He missed a game here. He missed 3 games there. Skip, in his 9-year career, in his last 7 years, the first 2 years he played all 16 games. The last 7 years, he missed basically 2 seasons. He missed 2 seasons.
Okay.
And it's tough because you hate to see a guy this gifted career end like it did. Kellen Winslow was another guy, Skip. He only played 9 seasons, but he didn't shortchange you. Gronk didn't shortchange it. You knew that when he walked onto the field, and I've said this before, he was the most dominating non-quarterback that we had going. And unfortunately, injuries took its toll on his body, and he said, you know what? I'm only 30. I plan on living another 50, 60 years, and I don't want to be limping and hobbling around at 31, 32. So you know what? I'm going to go on and bow out gracefully. He had an unbelievable career.
He did.
But I am not surprised he chose to walk away.
Hall of Fame, right?
No question.
No question.
Yeah,
First ballot.
First ballot. No
Right away.
question.
Got
no
it.
question.
So obviously, Rob Gronkowski has an immediate and brilliant future ahead of him as a pro wrestler or a movie star or whatever he chooses to be, just a character, right?
Skip, I believe wrestling is tougher on your body than football. Have you seen the way some of those guys walk around?
I don't watch. But
Oh, okay.
I guess so. They do toss each other around
Yes.
the ring, right?
Yes.
So can he survive in that?
I don't know.
No. The point is, he's going to segue right into a big new career. So he had that going for him, and a lot of guys, most guys, don't have anywhere near close to that.
Right.
Right? You knew you might be able to do TV, but
Right.
you weren't sure you could do TV,
Right, correct. Right.
So it wasn't a slam dunk for you to say, here we go into my next career.
Had CBS not called, I was taking my butt back to the NFL for year 15.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. So it was the perfect way for him to go out. He caught the pass. It was really the only pass of the Super Bowl. It's 29 yards down the 2-yard line. The game was 3-3. It's mid-fourth quarter. Brady's being stymied by Wade Phillips and company the whole game, and he makes one throw that was a little bit ill-advised to me because you had the 3 Rams within striking range of this pass. You know, it's thrown into almost triple coverage. He dropped a dime on Gronkowski, who made a nice catch and gets down to the 2, and that was basically the ball game.
Right.
So what a great way to go out, because to me, that was Brady's greatest clutch throw in any of his Super Bowls, given the degree of difficulty, because he had been stymied the whole game. So you caught it, you capped it off, you did it, great way to go out. The surprise for me is that we didn't hear this a week after the Super Bowl, or maybe at the most 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. When he goes home, he unwinds, he has a couple of beers, and he says, finally, I just can't do this anymore.
Correct.
Why did it take this long? Because he's going to leave his quarterback in even more of a lurch than the quarterback is usually left in. Because to me, the degree of difficulty, for Tom Brady at age 42 just continues to go up, harder.
Right.
Because Jared Cook was out there on the market. It was reported that Belichick made a brief run at Jared Cook, but it didn't seem to turn his head or open his eyes to New England.
Right.
Because he's committed, even though he hasn't officially signed, to New Orleans.
Right.
So Drew Brees, Tom Brady, I guess it was pretty close, right? And the money's probably much better, I'm thinking, in New Orleans.
I agree.
Jared Cook is really good. Every
Yeah.
time I've rooted against him, he has stung me somehow. He made that one catch. Of course, I could have made that catch. The pitch and catch.
Oh, he went to Jared?
He went to Jared. Yeah, right. He went to Aaron is where he went. But the point was, he's really good everywhere. Now, this would be his 5th team, so I don't get why Jared Cook keeps bouncing. But
You're thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
like, what is he difficult? Is he? Well, I don't know.
Rams gave up on him.
Okay.
The Packers gave
They
up on him.
did.
The Raiders are giving up
Yeah,
on him.
Something
yeah.
going on.
Tennessee originally
Yes.
gave up on him.
Yes.
Okay, so what's that about? I don't know. But if we look at this, the Patriots made a run at Adam Humphries, who got a big deal to go from Tampa to Tennessee. So Brady didn't get him. Danny Amendola was briefly on the market. I guess he's still too expensive for Belichick, so there's no Danny Amendola. We got an aging Edelman, and you got an aging Hogan, and they did re-sign Philip Dorsett.
Right.
Okay.
So is Hogan back?
I don't even know if he's going to be back or not.
Yeah,
but-
exactly.
okay, but that's a good question. So is Brady going to be reduced to continuing to dink and dunk to James White and Rex Burkhead? I don't know, because I'm looking at the tight end roster now. They did sign the immortal Matt Lacoste from your Broncos, who actually caught 24 balls for 250 yards and a touchdown for the Broncos last year, but that's going to be their big signee, other than, of course, they got Michael Bennett on defense. But I'm talking about for people to throw to. Jacob Hollister is still there on the roster, maybe. They also signed the immortal, these are wide receivers, Bruce Ellington and Maurice Harris. You're very familiar with both of those, I'm sure.
Not really.
Probably not. but that's what Malcolm Mitchell just retired, so you're down that guy. And now you're just looking at, will Josh Gordon ever come back? Could he come back sometime next year?
Well, they did tender him just in case.
Yep.
I think the thing, maybe they go into the draft. You know, you have the two guys from Iowa, Fant and Hawkinson.
Maybe.
Irv Smith Jr. from Alabama.
You could do that.
You know, Coach Belichick.
I like him.
He loves players from Alabama.
I got you.
He know they're well coached. Coach Belichick knows Nick Saban. He was his defensive coordinator in the 90s when he was in Cleveland. So that might be a possibility. But Skip, the only really, really big play, potential. He's only had two guys that were big play, that were capable of taking the top off the coverage and would gut you, that you set your defense up, you go into a game, we got to stop these two guys. That's Randy Moss, that's Rob Gronkowski. Now, Randy is in the Hall of Fame, retired many years ago. Now, we're going to see. Because, Skip, even though Gronk wasn't what he once was, he still caused you to stay up at night figuring out ways to try and stop him. Okay. And every once in a while, you see teams like, okay, you know what? He's not the same Gronk. And they would try and sneak a linebacker on him one-on-one. They try and sneak a safety on him one-on-one. And just when you least expect it, Tom Brady said, y'all think y'all slick, but I got something for you. And he would find him. And he's a monster to bring down. So now you get in situations where, like as you mentioned, you have Edelman. You have maybe Hogan if he comes back. Dorsett doesn't strike a whole lot of fear. No. So I can see James White catching 100 passes. I can see Rex Burkhead having another 40, 50 passes.
I agree.
Whatever it's going to take for this offense to evolve, whatever it's going to take for them to win a game, Coach Belichick, Josh McDaniel, the offensive coordinator, that's what they're going to do. Tom Brady's not going to until wake me up when I get breaking news, Tom Brady's retired. Bill Belichick.
So you've finally seen the light.
No. No, I'm saying no. That's when I'm going to be worried about the New England Patriots. Because long as those two are still there,
okay,
I'm not worried.
Still seems like Belichick's trying to handicap Brady here.
So what are you supposed to do? Talk Gronk out of retirement? Gronk wanted to retire, Skip.
Got to go get somebody. You got to make a splash. You got to go get Jared. Make sure you got Jared Cook, unless he got blindsided too late in the pursuit of Jared Cook.
Remember, we had a conversation, Skip, about Gronk, and you and I both thought he would not return. But the thing that I told him is that you take plenty of time to make this decision. You never make these type of decisions in an emotional state, whether you win or you lose. Now, he's further enough removed. He's 6-7 weeks removed from that high of winning the Super Bowl. He's had ample time to decide, you know what, guys, this is what I truly, truly want to do. And knowing I don't want to put my body through it gets harder as you get older to put your body in a situation where you can go perform. And then with no assurances, guess what? Week 1, I done nicked my ankle again. My back starting to act up again. My forearm, my elbow. So Gronk says, you know what, guys? What else? What else could Gronk do that's going to change perception of who and what he is? I believe he's the most dominant tight end to ever play that position. There's no question about that. We're going to talk about his greatness a little later. But there's no question in his mind. There's never been a tight end that possessed all the tools that he had. Guy that could run, that could catch, that could block, great in the red zone, great run after the catch. Yeah, there's no question in my mind he's the most dominant guy to play that position.
And as Brady posted yesterday, to Gronk, your fun-loving, inspiring, and positive energy made an impact on everybody you came into contact with. That's maybe what they'll miss even more than his on-the-field production, just his spirit, his spark, right?
Yeah.
And the fact we got Gronk and you don't, even if it's not until the playoffs that you got Gronk, but when you got Gronk, you got Gronk.
Yeah, and in a situation like that, Skip, sometimes you need a guy that can lift everybody's spirit, that's going to say something, that's going to do something to make everybody laugh. Because up there, we know it's Gattaca. You go in there and everybody looks alike, they walk alike, they talk alike, they do everything alike. You need someone that will break the ice.
We're the only two people who remember that movie. Is that possible?
It might be, Skip.
I don't know. You're talking about the movie Gattaca.
I'm talking about the movie Gattaca.
I liked it a lot, but it was creepy, scary. Right?
And everybody looked the same.
They did.
The same.
No.
But that's the thing, Skip. It was kind of like, I remember when I was in Denver, I was the guy that kept everybody loose to make everybody laugh. Be it in the locker room, we're stretching, because it was serious. Because Mike was about winning. and not a whole lot of bull jive, but there were ways to, to get around that.
In the same way that you helped lighten up Mike Shanahan,
yes,
I believe Rob Gronkowski helped lighten and temper a little bit of Belichick.
I
right?
totally agree.
Okay.
Just a little bit,
yes.
where it made him more palatable to the rest of the team. It just brought out a little bit of the playful side because he couldn't help but give in to this.
Because I'm sure he's probably looking at Gronk with the look on his face that he always has, but he's chuckling inside like, I can't believe him. This dude here is something.
Yeah, but there were points when I'm sure Belichick said, I've got to discipline him, I've got to reprimand, but he was so good, there comes a point when you just say, I got to give in to this. Because he keeps backing it up on the field, right?
He was dominant. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever see, 6'6.5", 270 pounds that could run like he could. I mean, and in the red zone, what are you going to do? There's no 6'6" DBs. LeBron James is not playing basketball. Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis is not playing basketball. Those are the only guys that you can put out there that could possibly win a jump ball with him.
Okay. So we are going to get more deeply in just how great Gronk was. Was he the GOAT? Because Brady also replied to his IG with, you're the GOAT, right? Yeah. So it's GOAT calling GOAT.
I won't go all that. We're going to talk about that later now.
Okay.
Stop.
But I got to do this just for the purpose of this discussion.
Yes.
Let's look at Shannon Sharpe's Hall of Fame career versus Rob Gronkowski's soon-to-be Hall of Fame career. So he managed to play in 9 years only 115 games. You played 204 in 14 years, okay? So you played 89 more games than he did.
Yes.
He had 79 touchdowns to your 62, but he played 89 fewer games. Well, that's productivity, man. Right?
He could score the ball. He could score the ball, Skip. There's only a handful of tight ends could score like him. Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez. They could score the ball like Gronk could score the ball like an actual wide receiver could.
So regular season, Gronk averaged 68 receiving yards a game. Shannon Sharpe 68, 6 ballpark. But again, he played so many fewer games. But at 68, his yards are just going to pile up over time. Now let's look at the playoffs. So Gronk played 16 playoff games to Shannon Sharpe's 18, so ballpark, pretty close, right? He caught 12 touchdown passes in those 16 games to your 4.
Damn.
And you were big play Shay, right?
Yeah.
But this is the biggest play, 18-4. Wait, did I say 18? Yeah, I'm sorry, it's 18. 18-4.
Yeah.
Okay, so he caught 73 balls in the playoffs to your 45. 16 games to 18 games, okay? So Rob Gronkowski with 18 touchdowns is second only to Jerry Rice's 22 touchdowns. 20 in the postseason.
And Jerry played a lot of games, a lot of playoff games,
I don't know exactly how many he played, but it's probably way more than that, I would think.
Yeah.
So the point is, highly productive in a short time frame, right?
Yes.
And you're a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
That just shows you where he was.
And the thing is, sometimes we get caught up, Skip, where he played 7 years. My question is, and I've always asked this of the voters, was he great? Greatness is not 20 years or 35 years. In the amount of time that he played, Rob Gronkowski was great. From the day he walked on the field until he says, I'm done. He was a great football player. And sometimes it's the Hall of Greatness, not the Hall of Longevity. And sometimes,
or the Hall of Very Good.
And sometimes, Skip, we get caught up, well, he did play 15 years or he did play 18 years. Okay.
Interesting.
How many of those years were great? How many years did you look at the tape and watch Rob Gronkowski and says, nah, he okay? I don't ever remember saying Rob Gronkowski was just okay. Even this year, he had spells to let you know what he could be if he was healthy. And even though he wasn't healthy, career cut short, 9 years. That dude was phenomenal.
He was. But I can take this to my bank that Tom Brady did come back from 28-3 down against the Atlanta Falcons without Rob Gronkowski. Okay. He won in overtime against Atlanta without Rob Gronkowski. How did he do that? Because he's the GOAT of GOATs, right?
Well, and that's what happens, Skip. If you're fortunate, sometimes you're fortunate, and Gronk was fortunate. He played his entire 9-year career with Tom Brady. 78 of his 79 touchdowns came from Brady.
That's correct.
A lot of, and every once in a while, you get a situation like a Jerry Rice, who played so many years with Joe and another 4 or 5 years with Steve Young. But for the most part, You don't get to finish your career with a Hall of Fame
You do
quarterback.
not.
You have to move on.
That is correct.
And Gronk had that luxury. But don't take anything away from Gronk now. Gronk helped Tom Brady too, Skip. He did.
Helped him a lot. In fact, I saw a stat. I think Brady's QBR was 16 points lower without Gronk.
Wow.
Okay, so that's significant.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how you would be the GOAT if your QBR drops. When one little old guy, little old Gronk. Remember, you won the Super Bowl without old Gronk.
Well, that's all you need to know.
Yeah, I do.
Period. End of story.
I need to know,
GOAT. GOAT.
I need
the real GOAT. The all-time
I need
GOAT.
to know why his QBR dropped so significantly. Now, if you'd have said like 3 or 4, I was like, oh, that ain't nothing, Skip. But you said 16.
So you think Tom Brady's in big trouble next year?
See, there
well,
you
that's
go.
where you're going with
I
this.
ain't going nowhere.
Yes, you are.
As a matter of fact, after this, I'm going home.
Oh.
That's where I'm going. I'm not going anywhere. I know what you're trying. I know what you're
You're
trying
going to Brady collapses next year,
No,
right?
no. I already told you.
the line?
I already told you this is last year. 20
This
years.
is last year?
Yeah, last
Boy,
one.
he's going to make you eat that.
Last year. Last one. Last hurrah.
Yep.
One last dance.
Really?
This is it?
Yep.
Huh. I'm looking at 3 last dances.
No, I know it ain't happening. No chance. Zero chance.
Yeah. One thing you've got to learn, and you still haven't learned about what we do here, never bet against number 12 in Foxborough. When you get that through your skull, then you'll get it.
I'm betting with Father Time.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I got 200 grand on Father Time.
Do you?
Yeah,
Really?
that's what Vegas say too.
Huh. I got the $1 billion you owe me on Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy.
Double or nothing.
Yeah.
Last
Double
one.
that bet.
Okay.
Old Gronk.
Either way, they had a
We gonna miss
special
old Gronk.
relationship, though.
We are going to miss him.
We will.
And he did go out just right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the only, if you really think about it, Skip, he had the only significant play in Super Bowl 53.
He did.
He really did.
I mean,
got it.
you can't remember any other play other than
Nope.
that long catch.
No, I can't.
We're going to be seeing a lot more of him, whether that's Hollywood or whatever's next. This isn't the end of what we're going to see from Gronk. Maybe he can ask LeBron for some advice about
Nah, we
Hollywood.
don't give out advice.
Maybe that would be a good idea. No?
Old Bron.
He's busy.
You see him
too.
last night, Skip?
He's busy.
Did
We're
you
going
see
to
him
talk
last
about
night?
LeBron. We are going to mention him in a bit.
Sacramento.
Don't do that, Skip.
But we also need to talk about Duke. Is Skip still feeling good about his Duke title prediction after that performance? We'll
That is
discuss
it.
next.
No mercy.
Well, the best game of the weekend was Duke's thrilling win over UCF. Zion Williamson got a huge bucket with 14 seconds left to pull Duke within 1. He then missed a free throw, but R.J. Barrett got the offensive rebound and put back to give the Blue Devils the lead. UCF had a chance to win it, but missed 2 shots in the final seconds. Duke survives and will now face Virginia Tech in the Sweet 16. So, Shannon, well, was Duke lucky or good yesterday?
Skip, you have to be a little bit of both sometimes, but this was luck. And the name of the game is survive and advance. And I think in all the championships that I can remember teams have won, they've always been one game in which you can go back and look at, they should have lost this one. How he missed the first runner and the tip didn't go in is unbeknownst to me. But give Duke credit. They were down, Skip. UFC had a 2-on-1 alley-oop. If that goes in, Skip, now you're down 6. Who knows what happens after that? They missed that. Reddish comes right back, hits a 3-point ball game in his ball game. I think the biggest play is when Taco when Zion got the and one. They could have easily called a foul on a push-off with a charge on Zion.
I agree.
Interesting, yeah.
Could have easily called him that.
Could have.
But in that situation, it's hard. Are you going to be the official? Because that's what you're going to be known for. You could referee 100 more college games. You're going to be known for the guy that blew the whistle on the charge on Zion Williamson. So with that being said, Skip, look, UFC gave him all they could handle. Johnny Dawkins' kid was unbelievable. I didn't know kid could play like that. I mean, I heard a little bit about him, Skip,
Yep.
but I didn't know he could hoop like that. He was letting it go from 3, getting to the rack. But again, it came down to one guy. One team had Zion, the other team did not. And the thing that you must do is that a lot of times people like, oh, he missed a free throw. That does not end the possession. It only ends the possession when you gain control of the ball if you are the opposing team. They didn't gain control of the ball. The left-handed guy, R.J. Barrett, grabs the rebound, puts it back up.
Got it done.
They hustle up the court. Again, how that ball did not go in is unbeknownst to me, Skip. This was an unbelievable game. I thought I said, UFC is in this thing. And then Duke comes out. They make the run right before the end of the half. Then they come out, and with 7 minutes, I think they're up like 7 points. I'm like, Duke's going to go away. I turned away for a little while and turned back. I'm like, whoa, UFC is not going anywhere. Oh, Duke, y'all in trouble. I was like, come on, then I started rooting.
Yep.
I ain't have anything UFC, but I started
Somebody
rooting.
I know has bet two cases of
Two
to do that Duke will go down.
Yeah, they going down.
I know.
They going down, they going down, they going down.
Yep. So did that just kill you? Just tear your heart out?
It hurt. It hurt. Because old Taco, I wanted Taco. Taco was doing it too.
I love
They're
that
scared of
guy.
Taco. They ain't want to see Taco
Can't
inside.
get enough of
Taco
him.
was swatting everything. Zion tried to dunk on Taco. Taco said, no, sir, bro. You not going to make me one of your highlight videos. It's not going to happen.
He can just stand flat-footed, right?
He could.
He doesn't have to jump.
He could.
Can't
And he
get
was
enough.
dunking everything, Skip. All their points were coming on dunk.
Not even hard.
So it was fun. And you know, once he went out of the ball game because Zion got the and one on him, he went out of the ball game. I don't know. Johnny Dawkins is kicking himself because all we had to do was secure the rebound, and the outcome might have been different.
True.
But you know, this is what the NCAA tournament, this is what it's all about. It's about survive and advance. Not pretty, not style, advance. And they advanced.
So, 4 times in the last 2 minutes of what turned into a great college basketball game, vintage March, and I mean madness.
Yes.
There were 4 times in the last 2 minutes I said, that's it, I'm out, I lost.
You said it 4 times?
4 times. I can give you all 4.
Okay.
But the point is, I've never known what this expression meant, by the skin of your teeth. I don't even know what that means. But I survived by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, it applied to this game. Because I'm talking about barely by the skin of teeth. But Duke did get one bad call and bad break at the 2-minute mark that made it 74-70. And that was when there was the shot that looked like it was long, and I don't think it ticked the rim.
Right.
So it was a shot clock violation, but Taco got the rebound and just dunked it.
Right.
And they gave that to Central Florida.
Right.
Well, I thought that was 2 they didn't deserve
Right.
because it looked to me like, and I saw all the angles, it just looked like the basketball did not touch the rim.
Okay.
It hit the backboard, but it didn't touch the rim. So the shot clock should have expired.
Right.
And it should have been Duke's ball going the other way without the 2 points.
Right.
But they
Down
gave
4 instead of down 6.
Okay. Down 4. No, it would be down. They should have been only down 2.
2. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Down
okay.
2, but now they're down 4.
Right.
And then they come back the other way, and Trey Jones, and I said this on Friday, Duke is a horrible 3-point shooting team, although Duke, as a team yesterday, made 40%. Everybody else was making them.
Well, if they make that,
except
can't beat
for Trey Jones.
Right.
Yeah.
Trey Jones is 1 for 8. They are just daring him. In fact, it looked to me on defense like they had Taco on Trey Jones.
They did.
And Taco would just stand under the goal and just say, I got this. You know,
Right.
I got this. You shoot that. Go ahead, shoot that and shoot that and shoot that.
Correct.
He made 1 out of 8, and the one that could have been the big one was the one from the corner, and he missed it. And they get the rebound, and they get turn into a full break. And guess who's on the receiving end is Aubrey Dawkins, who's been out of his mind the whole game. In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen a much greater performance. You can go back to Bill Walton's championship game performance.
21-22.
But this is from distance, man.
Yes.
He's just unconscious. And I'm saying, too good, too good, too good. Like, they just can't overcome that because he's out of his mind. Obviously, his father played for and coached with Coach K, and he was so inspired. It was like you're watching history repeat right before your very eyes. Duke is beating Duke. Like the bloodlines, the blue bloodlines through Aubrey Dawkins is going to overcome the blue Dukies, right?
Yep.
So in this case, the ball seemed slick the whole game to me because Zion couldn't sort of get the handle on it. Every time he went to drive, the ball would be slipping. Everybody couldn't get a hold of it.
The floor looked slick because Zion fell a bunch.
He did. Everybody was slipping or losing the handle constantly. And sometimes you get in those, these games with the new basketballs, and it's just like waxy slick.
Yes.
And it's just wrong. And you're like, whoa, but you can't stop it. You can't fix it.
Yeah.
You can ask for another basketball. They're all new, and it's probably the same. So Aubrey goes up for the alley-oop dunk, and he just loses the handle.
Yep.
And it goes up. It goes right through his hands. This is it. They're done on that dunk.
Yes.
That is the exclamation point. And he loses the basketball. And as you said, Cam Reddish, and I told you on Friday, that kid can really play. He's the third wheel, but he'd be a first wheel on any other. He'd be a player of the year candidate for any other team.
Yep.
So he goes down and makes a big clutch 3. So then we got a miss on the other end. And a couple of free throws, and then Zion misses a big three, and they get the offensive rebound and give it right back to Zion. And he says, okay, I didn't do that, so I'll try this. And he just wheels it home and goes right through Taco. And again, there's all kinds of offensive fouling going on because he pushes off the other kid.
Yeah.
And then he goes right up into it, and it's close to whether that's an offense, whether it's a charge or not. But again, Taco just kind of stands up, and I don't know, did he hack him on the arms? Yeah, okay. So you get the, and then I wanted to see Zion, because I've become a big fan, cap it off with the free throw. And I got to be honest, he short-armed the free throw. Mm-hmm. It was not a pretty sight because it barely ticked the front of the rim, and RJ hooks his guy, which you can review in college basketball, so you kind of get away with the hook, but it's just, to me, that's just playing basketball. That's just physicality.
Yeah, I don't think in that situation,
you're not going to do it, but he just comes completely free in the middle of the lane and puts it right back in. And that's just destruction.
Because if you look at it closely, Skip, he just goes, the one guy that's in the front, he just goes up under the basket. And the ball hits the front of the rim and carries right to a basket.
So now we get to the final play. And R.J. Barrett has Aubrey man-to-man. And Aubrey goes to set a pick, and then the other kid, what's his name, the other little BJ, he comes off, and he's going to shoot the shot.
BJ Taylor,
Yeah, and so he's going to shoot the banker, the running banker, and when it went up, I thought that's a little too hard because he's going full speed. So that lipped out, but guess what R.J. Barrett does not do to Aubrey?
He doesn't box him out.
He just stands there. Like R.J. just stands at the top of the lane just watching the action. And guess who swoops to the hoop? He swooped and got a lot of the ball in his hand and just lays it, tips it right back up. And as soon as it started to roll around the end, I said, I lost. Because it looked like it was soft enough it was going to fall. And I don't know how it fell off the far side.
I don't
either. I don't either. I thought it was soft.
I think he came with such great force, Skip.
He did.
And then it banged off the backboard a lot harder than had he just been right up under there, Skip. But he was coming from such great distance. He knew he had to get there in a hurry. And the ball, and like I said, it's one of those days, Skip, where the basketball guards are for Duke. And you need a game like this. Because how many times have we seen, man, if they could have just got past this team.
But it's like the basketball god said, Aubrey, we're going to give you a great game, but we're not going to give you this, right? Because in the end, he fumbles the alley-oop, and in the end, he missed the tip.
Skip, if he makes that tip, they're going to build a statue of Aubrey out front.
True.
They're going to build a statue.
We're having a whole different conversation.
They're building a statue. But it was unbelievable. It came down to Zion because guess what? This is how you know Zion is the best player. He missed that three-point shot, and guess what they did?
Gave it right back to him and said, you do it.
Do it again.
Do it.
And he says, you know what? I tried a shot, but let me do what I do. Great.
Correct.
Which is get to the basket.
Yeah. And he said, I can't dunk on him, but I'm going to try.
Go right through him.
Yep.
And that's what you're supposed to do. You don't give a shot blocker space.
Yep.
You go right to his body.
It's true. It was something. And as he said, Coach K told me I was made for this moment, and he was. And in the end, Zion is completely unselfish. In fact, obviously I'm rooting for Duke since I picked him to win the whole thing. It drives me a little crazy. He's not more involved in the offense on a possession-by-possession basis because he just drifts a lot of times. He's not a big part. They don't feature him. They don't say, let's get Zion the basketball.
He cleaning up.
Okay?
Most of this
There's
stuff
a lot
is
of cleanup.
Yes.
Okay? So look at your numbers. What happens in the end? Aubrey Dawkins winds up with 32, and it's canceled by Zion's very quiet 32, right? Yep. 32 to 32. Who knew?
Didn't feel the same.
Because when I looked at the box after the game, like 1 minute after the game, I said, Zion had 32 points?
Agree.
Because it felt like Aubrey Dawkins had 42 points and Zion had 15, right?
And the difference is, Skip, those rebounds. You got to keep Duke off the glass.
Yep.
They're going to crash the glass, Skip.
Yep.
They're going to get a lot of second chance opportunities. So you force them to miss, and I think sometimes they're content. Oh, RJ missed, or this Cam Reddish missed, or Zion missed, but they're coming. They're crashing the glass, and so you must keep them off the glass. You must limit their second chance points because that's how they beat a lot of teams. Because I don't believe that they're not a great shooting team. They are a terrible shooting three-point team. But if you don't keep them off the glass, don't worry about it. They'll put it back, and Zion's probably going to dunk it on you.
They're also a poor free throw shooting team, and they made 7 of 12, which is barely above 50%. and it almost cost them down the stretch because they missed 3 in the last 2 minutes,
Right.
or sort of the last two.
I mean, think about it, Skip. You remember the play? The guy, R.J. Barrett, was on one side, and Zion just points up. He throws the ball over the top. The guy leaps up out of the stadium, grabs the ball, and lays it in.
He does.
That ain't no play. That's not a play, Skip. That's not.
Nope.
I don't believe that's in Coach K's playbook. But when you have someone with that kind of athleticism, this is what he's capable of doing.
Yep.
And they're never going to be out of a ball game because they believe. We've seen them come back from, 20 down against Louisville. They're going to make a charge. They're going to make a run. So when you get your opportunity, you better try to put as much distance as you possibly can. But they coming. Oh, Virginia Tech. Let's go, Hokies.
You know what?
Oh, boy.
All I know is if you
Hokie high.
if you can survive Aubrey Dawkins, you can win the championship.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, this is it.
But you see my Tar Heels? Boy, they look good, didn't they, Skip? Do they look good? Yes or no? It's a simple yes or no. No, don't do that, Skip.
That's an
Don't do
in-between
that.
answer.
Don't do that,
right
Skip.
there.
Boy, we crashing them ball. Ooh, boy, the play
Really?
look good.
Survive in advance.
Old ball coach Roy. Old dadgummit Roy. He got to play in, Skip. Old dadgummit.
Okay.
You know what? I love my chances. Thank you
love
very
mine.
much.
Really?
More.
Okay. Well, Duke did lose to Virginia Tech, but that was without Zion last
is
month,
correct.
so something to keep in
Gonna
mind.
even make it sweeter when they beat up with Zion.
We got to wait until Friday to watch him again.
Would you like to put a third case of Duke just on that game?
No,
Thank you.
No?
If you're going to give me some points, you
No.
give me a couple of points. Skip, you're the
These things all go to the wire.
No,
That's how it is.
Yeah, the overwhelming favorite.
Yeah. Well, I'm good.
I tell you what, you know what I do,
You're
Skip?
good.
Give me 5
I'm feeling
points.
good. I'm on Skip's side.
Give me 5.
So.
I got to see what the line is on the game.
Line's like probably 10. 8
8.
points. I don't want but 5. I don't want but 5.
I'll think about it.
Okay. No mercy. And we're going to chat about LeBron. So here's the thing. He may not have dodged a bullet after all. In a now deleted Instagram post, LeBron's physical therapist wrote that the groin injury he suffered on Christmas Day should have kept him out 6 months instead of
What?
6 weeks.
What?
Yes. The doctor wrote, quote, unselfishly, he endured pain.
What?
He did not want to let the Lakers down and the fans down. LA went 6-11 with LeBron out of the lineup. So, Skip, what is going on here?
Mr. Sharpe.
Yes.
Magic Johnson is not going to like what's going on here, and maybe Jeannie Buss will like it even less if I know Jeannie Buss.
About what?
Let me explain.
Please.
This smacks of what number 2 did a year ago to the San Antonio Spurs when their crack medical staff declared him completely ready to play, but he sought outside second, third opinions, right? He went to New York for this surgeon and New York for that physical therapist who said, well, maybe something's going on here, and you know how that turned out, right? So let us reconstruct what happened. LeBron hurt his groin on December the 25th at Golden State. Am I right about that? Thank you very much. And on December 26th, LeBron James reportedly had an MRI. And I know for a fact, after the outcome of that MRI, that LeBron tweeted,
There you go.
dodged a bullet. Hashtag back in no time. And I thought, well, he's Iron Man. He'll be back in, I don't know, a week, maybe 2 at the outside. But no, it went on for 3 weeks. And on January 16th, the Lakers announced that LeBron was cleared to play by their medical staff, at least to practice, and I assume that meant to start to play in games, right? That's what they said. But remember what Rich Paul said? He went on a media tirade, a campaign calling up media members. And to The Athletic, what did Rich Paul say? We don't give a bleep what anybody thinks of anything. And he said that our best case was 3 weeks, but our worst case was 6 weeks. And he said, we're right on schedule for that. So he was basically attacking the announcement from the Lakers that LeBron was cleared to play. That smacks of what happened in San Antonio last year. Am I right about that? So now we hear that LeBron James went outside to a physical therapist in Beverly Hills, and I've asked a couple of doctors I know about this. How do we say her name? Karen Jobert?
I wasn't sure about the
I don't know if it's
pronunciation,
Jobert, right?
I tried to follow her on
Hey, you
social
know
media
French?
and I didn't get accepted.
Okay,
so
well,
just
she's
wanted
got
to
a
see the
closed
post.
account.
Yeah,
Okay?
I wanted to see what she was up
But
to.
LeBron obviously went to Beverly Hills, and again, I asked a couple other doctors I know there who said she has a good reputation, a good practice, and I was told that she did treat Kevin Love, so maybe Kevin recommended LeBron, you should try her. So he's got the longtime trainer Mike Mancias.
Right.
So he even went outside of Mike Mancias to go to her, which the Lakers probably will not like. And it was that it took him 5 weeks to come back, right? So he came back in 5 weeks and he played against the Clippers. Then he skipped Golden State. Then he started playing Indiana, Boston, right?
Right.
Okay. And they are 6-15 are the Lakers since his return, not counting the Golden State game and the games that he has missed. So the point is that did she violate some sort of doctor-patient, confidentiality here to post this? I'm a little suspicious because LeBron is notorious for having excuses.
There you go. There you go.
Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just stating facts and history of what's happened. He had one of his insiders, one of his team members, inner circle members, I told you, Stephen A. Smith, that after that Boston flameout the first time around in Cleveland, that he had to be sedated.
And Stephen A. needs to start dry snitching, too.
Okay, he's not dry snitching. He reported it. It's
I
not
know.
Dry snitching.
I'm sure he told him
he's a reporter.
He told him that in confidentiality.
No. He was told that to report that, and he did. On Mike and Mike that morning, he reported that. So I'm just going by the facts of this case. And then what did LeBron do after he got swept last year in the media session right after the fourth game, the sweep game? He wears a soft cast on his right hand to say, oh, I broke my hand.
He did.
Okay, whatever.
The only problem I got, he didn't bring it upside J.R. Head.
Okay, well, now it's a little suspicious that she posted this the day after the Lakers were officially eliminated from the playoffs, and she goes way over the top about, as Jenny read, pain.
It wasn't over the top.
He endured pain. His will to win. Unselfishly, he endured pain.
Very unselfish.
Okay, and all I know, I'm doing eye test on LeBron James, and I've watched every one of these games, wire to wire. Not once did I see him drag a leg the way you do when your groin is really acting up, when you look like you're limping, like you got a stiff leg, because you have to go stiff-legged if you got a pulled groin. I never saw him do that. So again, was he playing? Was he almost superhuman? Was he a superhero to play through the pain?
Yep.
Maybe so, but I'm just telling you that Magic Johnson is furious today that she posted that, and then she took it down. So somebody probably, LeBron will like the excuse get planted, but he won't like it that she violated.
If you don't mind me asking, when Magic Johnson was diagnosed with his illness, did he only listen to the team doctor, or did he go to outside doctors?
Well, obviously, that's something team doctors did not treat at that point because nobody really knew how to treat it.
All I'm saying
is, but that's like a whole nother ball of wax.
My point is that now, Skip, LeBron is not the only one that probably has a doctor or doctors that he gets a second, third opinion. Because at the end of the day, the team doctor is exactly that. What, Skip? Team doctor, and the team's interest comes before the player's interest. We know that. That's not any sugarcoating. Okay. Another one of your points I want to shoot down. Did LeBron miss 73 games? Because the guy you're talking about, he pulled this with San Antonio. He missed 73 games. LeBron James did not miss 73 games.
Did LeBron miss the games?
Hold on, Skip.
As they teetered?
Hold on.
Yes, he did.
Hold on.
They went from the 4th seed to what, the 8th or 9th?
I'm going to get to that. Because she addressed that. She addressed that in that tweet.
She did.
Now, another one of your points. You keep talking about he put out a tweet. If you don't mind me asking, do you have the tweet handy? What LeBron tweeted the day after he had the MRI?
I just said it. Those are the 2 key lines.
Yeah, what did he say?
Dodged a bullet, # back in no time. He did the praying.
And he's like, sheesh. Right?
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sheesh, yeah.
Did it ever dawn on you LeBron did not want the severity of the injury out?
Well, what good would that do him?
What do you mean?
He would want to go the other way.
No, you see, Jenny, he can't win. If he lets you, LeBron putting on, it's not that serious.
Okay, but so what? Are teams not going to prepare for LeBron James? It's not like football.
No, Skip.
You know he's out.
I understand that he's out, but maybe he does not want people to know the severity of his injury because, see, what I've learned about LeBron, he's never going to get the benefit of the doubt because you already call him a drama queen. You already tell him he's the queen of drama, the king of drama.
Is he not?
No, he's not. He was injured.
Even this. Who else has this going on?
I'm not surprised because I don't care what anybody says. I've watched LeBron dribble a basketball since he entered into the NBA. And I told you LeBron James does not look right. LeBron James does not have the lift. Now, he can get up and dunk a few every once in a while, but
I've seen some big throwdowns, man.
All of a sudden, LeBron James comes into the season. He's bounding, leaping, building in a single bound. Now he's taking the elevator to get up to the top floor.
Is he?
Where he used to just bounce up, get on up there himself.
Could it be 16th season? Could it be Father Time tapping on shoulder?
Well, I can't tell. 29,
Or maybe
11.
Father Time's like putting a hand on his shoulder to hold him down a little bit?
29, 11, 11. I can't tell his Father Time.
Okay,
But anyway.
well, there you go. Now you're talking out the other side of your mouth.
No, hold on, Skip. Hold on. The lady said he came back to say this injury probably should have kept him out. And I told you, the way he went down, Skip, this is not a normal, that might have came off the bone a little bit. Not all the way off. It might have just came just a little bit off the bone. See, you don't really eat anything.
Off the bone?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, tore a little bit off the bone. Maybe
Okay,
that's
well,
what
then he's not going to come back in 3 weeks. Then it would be probably 3 months.
He came back in 6, and that's what she's trying to
But
tell you.
She said 6 months, and I got to tell you,
Right.
you could tear your groin off the bone and you can come back before 6 months.
No, you ain't tearing
Trust
nothing back
me.
up.
Yeah.
No. But anyway, as I was saying, Skip, you know what? And that's what happens. I believe had LeBron James had this very injury in Cleveland, LeBron James probably was 8, maybe 3 months. I believe that. But see, Skip, when you go to a different locale with new teammates,
$35 million?
the money's inconsequential. Because I made way more money at Baltimore. But that wasn't the reason I went out there. That wasn't the reason I was getting 40 and 70 cc's drawn off my knee on a Monday and Tuesday, off both knees. Because, Skip, I felt I had to, because the fans were counting on me, my teammates. What I had done in Denver was going to play no role in what I was going to do in Baltimore. And I didn't want to let those guys down. I needed to be there. They were counting on me to be there. LeBron James knows they're counting on him. And as he's like, okay, man, if they 10-8, if they 12-6, maybe he take an extra 2 weeks. But he see, 4 seed, 5 seed, 6 seed, 7 seed, 8 seed. You're like, oh, I got to make a move. Even if I'm not 100%. My 80 will still have me in the top 5 as best players in the league. At 100%, it's not even close.
Did you see that last play on Friday night, 23 seconds left, when he tried to go baseline?
Yeah, Feet gave up money.
Oh.
That's
That
torque.
wasn't about lift.
That's torque.
Oh.
That's torque.
That's called getting head over skis.
That's
You're getting out.
torque. And how you get your head on when you go too fast. That's what happens. A guy that's going slow, I guarantee you Tom Brady couldn't get over his skis like that.
That looked like 16th year.
Don't do that, Skip. Why would you do that?
He just because it looked.
Oh,
like
you don't want to talk about
16th
them
year.
free throws he hit last night, the stretch last night? Skip?
Last night?
Last
He did.
night.
The other
Last
night,
night.
not so much. Friday night,
Don't do
not
this,
so
Skip.
much. Well, he's shooting 66%.
Well, we're going to
How can you defend it?
We're going to be in 70 before it's all said and done.
All right, I don't know.
Getting there?
No, Skip, why do you see?
So,
why can LeBron never be in an untenable situation? He always has to get questioned. Why can't he be hurt?
Well, maybe so, but Karen Jobert, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly.
Sounds right.
Sounds like, you know French, right?
Oui.
So she also posted a picture of her with her arm around LeBron in the Laker facility.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's like a bad look to me because
Why is it a bad
she's trying
look?
to promote herself. She is a celebrity physical therapist. She's appeared on a lot of local TV, radio shows.
Okay.
So I get it. So you get.
And look at LeBron abbed up.
Yeah.
You talk about he getting fat. I can't tell.
No, that looks good.
It look
When he
great.
came
It
back
no good.
that first couple of days,
Don't do
I
that,
don't
Skip.
know.
See, there you go. See?
Well, I was just looking. I know this stuff, man.
I just don't think she would post this without LeBron's
Sign-
approval.
exactly.
Because that's too risky for your reputation
I
and
would
your
say.
career.
Yes.
So maybe there is a reason LeBron wants this information out that we will now
Let me plant an
be
excuse
hearing
for
about.
you.
we playing an excuse. Well, I can't.
It's a pretty good excuse.
No, an excuse would be if.
He should have been out for 6 months.
Hold on. An excuse would be if he was averaging 15, 5, and 6. That would be an excuse. Not 27, 8, and 8.
The excuse is for 6 and 15 since he returned. That's all that anybody in Laker Nation cares about.
They're not
they don't care about those are empty calories, all those numbers.
They're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And everybody's happy, and it's easy to kick a man when he's down, Skip. But like he said, you read the other post. I promise you won't happen again.
We're going to talk about that.
Promise it won't happen
We are
again.
gonna
That's what
talk
he
about
said.
that.
I promise you.
He's promised a lot of things.
And he delivered.
Really?
Yes.
Got to keep the.
Well, he
feelings
make a
happy.
commitment. He another hashtag commitment.
Hashtag commitment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't believe in promises. My granddad used to say, boy, promises are like pie crust. Thin and easily broken.
Oh.
He committed. I'll go right now. Give me 2 cases on 53 wins next year. 53? I want 2 cases on 53.
You really want to make that statement right now?
Is that all you got is 53? Go to 60.
53, I got to see who we get. Hey, we get Anthony Davis or KD, I'm going to 63.
Right.
Well, if you get KD and Kyrie, we should be betting on over under 60.
Over under 60?
Yeah.
If you give me both of those guys, I'm going to go over under 65.
Okay. All right. Well, then,
Are we doing it? Or we got to move on?
But right now, all we know is we got LeBron.
I need to know if LeBron's going to be the third wheel next year.
I don't care.
What I need.
I don't care what wheel he is. He can be that little donut that's in the trunk of the car.
Well, he might have to be.
53 wins for the Lakers.
I'm not going to. I need to know who they got.
Why you care?
Well, if they got those two, then LeBron's irrelevant. He just goes along for the ride.
You want to do that, Skip?
Well, I'm not.
Did you see what Kyrie did last night?
I didn't like it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't like it now. You don't like him taking himself out the game?
Well, he's got one foot out the door.
We got to move on, guys. Are the Giants having second thoughts about trading Odell? We'll discuss all that next.
No mercy.
The New York Giants may have traded Odell Beckham Jr. to Cleveland, but co-owner John Mara insists it wasn't an easy decision. He said that he gave, quote, reluctant approval to Dave Gettleman to make the deal and talked about how hard it was to tell his grandsons because Odell is their favorite Giant. Mara added, it makes it a little easier that he's not in our conference. So, Shannon, what does this tell you?
It tells me that John Mayer is reading too much of the papers and listening to the media.
Yep.
Because, Skip, there's no question in my mind. Let's backtrack a little bit. I believe Ben McAdoo and Jerry Reese, the former general manager, former head coach, went to John Mara and said, Eli's not playing well, and we probably need to go in a different direction. And he said, okay, because you're not making this move with a guy like Eli without the blessing of the owner, unless you're Bill Belichick. And even Bill Belichick, he got his hand slapped when he tried to do it to Tom Brady. Okay. Did it for one game. The outcry, the fans got so upset, they ended up reinserting Eli Manning into the starting lineup.
Yep.
Because John Mara got so much fan blowback, and he didn't want that. Remember, Skip, he was the one that volunteered the information. When they asked him about Colin Kaepernick, he said the fan mail that I get, the vitriol and the hate, he volunteered that. Ain't nobody asked him about the fan mail he got. He volunteered that. So he has rabbit ears. He hears all that. You reluctant. What you think the likelihood, Skip, of him selling the Giants, selling his 50%, reluctantly selling his 50% stake? That'll never happen. You could have said, Dave Gettleman, if you don't get out of my office talking about trading Odell,
Could have.
easy.
Yep.
Oh, he's one of my favorite. Clearly, he wasn't favorite enough.
Yeah.
Because you signed off on it. At the end of the day, Skip, whether it was reluctant or he get 100% do it. Odell Beckham is a Cleveland Brown for one reason and one reason only. Ownership thought it would be a good idea to get Odell out of the locker room. But what he did in the process, he threw the general manager and the head coach. That's Dave Gettleman and Pat Sherman wanted this. What?
Yep.
Man, if I'm Dave, I'm like, Pat, if I'm Pat Sherman, like, keep me out of this. I ain't had nothing to do with it. I'm just a little old lonely coach. Skip, all I do is I coach what's going on the field. You don't let me be in charge of Final 53. You don't let me be in charge of the draft. And you definitely not going to let me have any say whether or not you trade Odell. Man, I can't even believe, I've never seen, you know what? John Mara dad is rolling over, Skip. He can't even believe his son is doing this. I can assure you one thing. The one thing that his dad didn't do, he didn't succumb to fan pressure, because I can assure you, there was no social media, but I'm sure he got letters because they knew what LT was doing, and his dad didn't blink an eye.
Nope, he did not.
The NFL intervened and said, we're going to sit LT down, but the Giants didn't. Man, this is, Skip, I've never seen anything like this. That the ownership has become so enamored and so swayed by fan pressure. Because this was the same fans and same media. I'm tired of Odell. They need to ship Odell. The very media. They need to get rid of Odell because this is not working. Odell is not working. Get rid of Odell. Okay, they traded Odell. I can't believe that says more about the organization than it does Odell, that they don't have parameters in place with how to deal with a talent like this. Man, they need to stop. John Mara, I can't believe you. Skip, I cannot believe this man that's been a football lifer. His dad built the Giants from ground up, and only thing he's ever known was the Giants. And he would say this publicly? Even if you thought it, to say it publicly, man, you undermine everything the general manager and the head coach has done.
To all of your points, I never thought I would put dysfunction and New York Football Giants in the same sentence. And this morning, I'm doing that. I've told you from the start, as a lifelong Cowboy fan, I've always had nothing but respect for the Giants.
Yes.
I have respectfully hated the rival Redskins, the arch rival, and I just flat out don't like the Eagles. I just don't like them. But that's okay. So the point is, I'm now losing what respect I had for the cornerstone franchise, because this is so outrageous on the part of John Mara and Steve Tisch to say to the media, don't blame us. We disassociate. That was their deal. It's their thing.
That's ownership.
Blame Gettleman. Blame Pat Shurmur. Poor Pat Shurmur. He's probably going to last one more year.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And you're going to throw him under 100 buses. Every bus out of Manhattan going through the Lincoln Tunnel, they got thrown under. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So then he even went so far as to say his hardest call was to his two grandsons who sobbed uncontrollably about their favorite player, Odell, is being traded, as if he has to apologize to them. Well, what are you doing? You know what? This actually made me love Jerry Jones as the CEO of the Cowboys, because at least when something happens, it's his, right?
And he'll own it.
He owns it like too much, right?
Yes.
But it's always the buck stops on Jerry's desk. Well, they're saying the buck stops on Gettleman's desk. Really? Are you kidding? And then speaking of, and again, it's hard for me to believe that John Mara, an older guy, I'm not sure exactly how old he is, but again, does he hang on Twitter the way somebody I know does and just read all of his
Clearly he does.
I don't think he does. I think he's just reading the newspapers like he grew up doing, the New York tabloids.
Well, you know what's worse than Twitter? New York Talk Radio.
Okay, and that's terrible too. I agree. But he's firing back at the media because he says that the media is making the case they're hanging on to Eli out of sentimentality. He obviously won this organization.
How you know what they talk about?
Okay.
Unless you listen.
He said, this is his quote, "I've read that, and I have to tell you, that really gets under my skin because that is absolute nonsense." He's talking about the headlines he's reading, the newspaper columns he's reading, about how you're just hanging on to dear old Eli because he won you 2 Super Bowls.
Yes.
Well, are they doing that to him?
Yes.
Probably. They don't have an alternative right now. So I can't condemn them. Because
they don't have an alternative to Odell.
Okay.
But they let him go.
And then he's outraged because he's reading the media. He says, I love that question. He's saying sarcastically about, do you have a plan? Because that's all anybody in the New York tabloids or the New York Times, for that matter, is asking, what is the Giants' plan? He says, I love that question. What is the plan? The plan is to build a team and make it better. Well, could have fooled me because we're not sure why did you give him the contract in the first place? Because those two, Tisch and Mara, had to sign off finally on the big contract.
With that kind of money?
The biggest wide receiver contract ever, and it remains the biggest contract.
And you gave him $21 million that time he signed the contract. And he made $41 in the first year.
Okay, and you did that just a few months after the Paris incident in the hotel room, and I was like, what are you doing? Did he earn this? Well, apparently they thought so.
I don't know about you, Skip, but me reading between the lines, I like to read between the lines sometimes because sometimes people write stuff, but that's not really what they're saying. Does he really believe Gettleman has a plan? Because you just threw him under the bus. You said it was his idea with Pat Shurmur to get rid of Odell, and that you and the other owner, Steve Tisch, who owns 50% of the Giants, y'all didn't necessarily believe, but y'all reluctantly, because guess what they could have said?
Reluctantly?
Dave, if you don't get out of my office,
and
I can't believe, if you mention trading Odell again, you're going to be out of here.
You're traded,
So clearly, they wanted Odell out of there because he had said it before. He wanted to talk about Odell in more football-related matters, not behavior and not Paris hotel incidents. He said that. So clearly, he wanted him gone, but he didn't realize the firestorm, be it fans and media, that was going to come along with it. Because it seemed like everybody in the media was getting tired of Odell too. It seemed like the fan that had it up, he doesn't play but 5 or 6 games a year. He mopes on the sideline. You can't win with that. And then all of a sudden, it's amazing how popular someone's become once you get rid of them.
I got it.
Right?
But again, when it came down, I didn't have any problem with it.
I didn't either.
I had a problem with them giving him that much money to start with, and I said it right here, so I'm not being 20/20 hindsight.
I got more of a problem with what he's saying because he's undermining his general manager and his head coach because he's like, what he's telling, Odell, we wanted you.
Yeah.
Me and Steve, we wanted you to keep you, but we was outweighed by some people in the organization that doesn't have nearly the control or nearly the say that we have. That's what happened, Odell. We wanted to keep you so bad, bro. You think we wanted to trade you? But Dave Gettleman and Pat Shermer, they won out over us.
Oh, I know. No one's safe in this place.
So Dave Gettleman like,
thanks so much for sharing. Yeah.
What?
I know.
I thought what we talked about in meetings, I thought, Skip, normally what the general manager and the owner talks about to the general manager never becomes public. Never.
I don't even know if his grandkids want to know that he's saying that they were upset about the move. Like, no one wants
Again,
private.
Skip, what's happening? They're appealing to his emotions.
Yep.
And see, you can't make decisions on emotions because you'll mess up every time because now every decision he makes, everybody knows that's why you're holding on to Eli, but we'll discuss Eli, I'm sure, at another date and time. But I've never heard anything like this.
What a message to send to your football team, to the locker room. I won't lie to you, says John Mara. It's not going to be easy without Odell. Well, okay.
Why'd you trade him?
All right.
Skip, why did you trade him?
Yeah, exactly. It's messy.
You know, it's almost like, man, it's not going to be easy to cook without a stove. Why'd you sell the stove? Why'd you get rid of it, Skip?
Good luck. Yeah. I know. He might live to regret some of those
I wouldn't
comments.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay,
we've got some different family drama to talk about. Why is Lonzo saying goodbye to Big Baller Brand? This story we will discuss with Chris Broussard. We'll tell you the latest next.
No mercy.
Well, get this. Lonzo Ball is done with Big Baller Brand. ESPN reported this weekend that Lonzo cut ties with his father's company because of concerns with his dad's friend, Alan Foster, who is a part owner of the company. Ball said that Foster, quote, used his access to my business and personal finances to enrich himself. Lonzo is apparently missing about $1.5 million from his personal and business accounts and is pointing the finger at Foster. We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Good morning.
Good morning.
I will start with Shannon here, though. What's your reaction to this story?
Sad. I'm disappointed. If these allegations are true, that someone, and it's normally family, someone that's close to you, that you trust, although this guy's not blood related, but he's almost like family. He trusted him. Lavar was supposed to be overlooking this also. But I believe Lavar spread himself too thin, trying to.
You mean like overseeing it?
Overseeing everything.
Right.
You know, he's trying to get Jello into the NBA. He's trying to get LaMelo to a school.
Yep.
He's got a water company. He's trying to grow Big Baller. And while you're doing all this, there's someone siphoning money from your elder son. Allegedly.
Yeah.
And it's just sad that this is happening. I'm glad Lonzo is it looks like he's starting to take ownership of his career.
Sure does.
I mean, if you take his Instagram post at face value, he says, I'm a man now. I'm going to be my man. I'm moving in a different direction. It reported that the Lakers think that the big ball and shoe might have had something to do with
they asked Lonzo. You think it's the shoes?
Yeah.
It's got to be the shoes.
This is what
He
we
was
know.
playing in buddies, all right? You know what that is.
Yeah, I know what buddies are. But normally when you start a shoe, there's a lot of R&D that goes into that shoe. I don't know how much research and development went into Big Baller Brand. I'm just saying, Skip.
Did you get yours? I don't know.
Did you ever get them?
I did. Yeah.
What do you think of them? I held them. They look all right, but
I got the first model. If I was the first model. Now, if I was a security guard with a flashlight, you know what I'm trying to make sure everything.
you can wear them. They be all right.
They good for that. But that's about it.
That's quite an endorsement.
But here's the thing. If I'm Lonzo, Skip, do you know this guy's resume? This guy was sentenced to more than 7 years, pleading guilty to mail fraud and 2 counts of money laundering, defrauding 70 investors of $4 million. And you put him in charge of the money? Come on, Skip. A guy got arrested, spent time in prison for mail fraud and embezzling, and you put him in charge of the money. That makes no sense. You can't, there's no way. I don't care if it's my brother. My brother gonna do time for stealing money. He can't be in charge of my money. Now, somebody else might be fool enough to let him be in charge, but he can't be in charge of mine. So I'm sorry, Lonzo. I hope this is not true. And if it is true, I hope you can recoup everything. But Skip, man, people don't know. People ain't gonna do. I lost some money one time. I lost a big chunk of money one time. And I wanted to put that thing to his head. Real talk, Skip Bayless. But you know what I'm saying? You know what? I go to jail. I'm going to go to jail because I'm going to go to jail. I know I'm going to go to jail. And then my kids were very young then. It wasn't 1.5. It was 500,000, Skip. And the dude took it. A lot of dudes took it. And I really thought about it. I really did think about it.
Friend?
No, he wasn't a friend. It's somebody, I trust. Someone, this guy's doing a good job. I mean, at first he was doing a good job.
Yeah.
But all good things come to an end. And I'm glad the discretion was that, I thought about it. But, man, this is 1.5 million is a lot of money. Right. First of all, if it's $2, I worked hard to get those $2, and you took my money.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Shannon. This is sad, number one. We know this guy, Alan Foster's been up here. We've all had, Lavar's been on the show.
He comes every time with the
Yeah, seemed like a nice guy.
He runs their social media.
Yeah. So it was sad. When I saw the story and his picture, it was just stunned because you had dealt with this guy. And also for all the mistakes that Lavar has made, and there's plenty, with all three of his sons. Yeah. I mean, LiAngelo should still be at UCLA.
Sure.
LaMelo should still have college eligibility.
Right.
If he hadn't gone there. I mean, he's done made some major mistakes with those kids. However, you could always say it seemed like he meant well.
Yes.
And I think he did mean well. And he loved this family. So what I hope, because there's reports that the kids have removed the pictures of their dad and Big Baller Brand from Instagram. I hope that the family is not estranged. Now, obviously, you got to get rid of Alan Foster. Yeah. But hopefully, and the dad, not looking at the emails. You mentioned putting the guy in charge of the money. That was terrible. Not looking at the email from the agent. They sent it in October about all the misdeeds financially. Reportedly, Lavar didn't look at it until a week ago. So that's horrible. So I get why if they're mad with their dad, I get it. But hopefully they will be able to work it out as a family and just be a regular family. Like the dad, you're not involved with my business.
Dad.
You're just a dad. You're just a dad. Now, I think, like you said, it's great for Lonzo. He hashtagged on Instagram, my own man. I didn't like him putting the number 2 in the rafters. Just become a legitimate starter first. You know what I mean? But I think we're going to see the best of Lonzo, like whatever that is, whether that's an all-star like Skip may think, or that's just a good starter, whatever. I think he's going to get a better trainer. Yes. I think he'll be healthier, whether it's the sneakers or not. I just think we'll see the best of Lonzo going forward. And I would say this, Shannon, and maybe you can relate to it. Sometimes, and I've been a victim, in the black community with the racism historically, and that still goes on today with mass incarceration, with the war on drugs. I know guys that have spent many years in prison. I got some friends that have spent many years in prison. And a lot of times you give them the benefit of the doubt. Because you may think they may have done something wrong, or maybe the system, caught up with them, or you think they're rehabilitated. And now I wouldn't have put him in charge of the money, like you said, but I've been burned by I haven't lost money, and obviously not to this extent, but I've been disappointed. I trusted some guys that have been in prison that I thought they would change their behavior. I thought, and I've ended up disappointed because they didn't act like I thought they would. And so I can understand when Lavar said, I believe the best in people, I can understand how he may have known about this guy's background, but still thought, this is my man, I can trust him.
He wouldn't do that to me.
He was burned.
He wouldn't do that to us, Skip.
Right.
So obviously I remain a big Lonzo fan, basketball-wise. This just tears me up for how hard his father made it for this kid. because not only did he just about talk him straight out of the league as the number 2 overall pick, playing point guard for Magic Johnson in his home area of Los Angeles. That's hard enough. But when you say he's better than Steph, he's better than LeBron, blah, 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 it just makes it harder and harder. And we all hark back to Patrick Beverley on opening night, just said, I'm going to destroy this kid, and I'm going to point to you in the stands, LeVar, because this is for you, not for this poor kid, because he's just an NBA baby. Right. I don't know. This has got to be devastating, embarrassing, completely distracting when you're trying to play basketball and you got this hanging over your head. And this is why I'm so disappointed in LeVar. And I've defended him many times on this show just because he loves his kids to a fault. But LeVar is straight out of Compton, and I thought he had one of the highest BS detectors you could have because he knows the streets.
Right.
He should be able to see it and feel it before it happens. And I'm pretty sure he knew nothing about Alan Foster's background. And when he met Alan Foster, he was fresh out of prison for financial fraud. Worse, if you go back to his records, Alan Foster had gotten busted on a gun charge, carrying a weapon without a permit, and then he violated his probation on top of that. And then he went to, and listen to what the prosecutor said about the financial prosecuting of Alan Foster. He says they targeted African Americans that they got to know through churches and by other means, and they made various misrepresentations of them about their ability to return large sums on investments, which were false. Now, that's just the lowest of the low to me, and that's the guy you chose because he had a son who was in 7th grade with Lonzo at Chino Hills, whatever that middle school would be there, right? And because the sons became buddies, then all of a sudden, Alan Foster was able to buddy up with LeVar, and LeVar just completely bought in and trusted him. And he got flim-flammed, allegedly. Allegedly. Now, think about that. LeVar Ball, straight out of Compton, getting flim-flammed. I don't think it was like by like a friend. He just got to know him, but you got to check people's backgrounds. I just don't think he knew anything about this.
I bet he knew that he had been in prison.
You think so?
Yeah, because he probably knows a lot of guys that have been in prison.
For financial fraud, and then you hand him the keys to your
Maybe he didn't know he was in for financial fraud.
Right.
Maybe, like you said, the gun charge, Skip. But the thing is, and you see that a lot of times.
He probably didn't know what it was.
The vulnerable is in church because the last place you expect to be a victim of is in the church.
I know it.
No, but you ain't
gonna. You want to believe the people.
You ain't gonna.
They trying to live for God.
What did they say? Will a man rob God?
Right.
No, he might not rob God, but he'll get you.
But that's a man who has no soul.
None.
No soul.
None. See, see, Skip, and when it make you want to hurt somebody, man. This man done worked all his life. I mean, Lonzo worked all his life to be in this situation.
He did.
And you just took this man's money. Maybe if you just asked, well, Lonzo, can you invest in this? Don't man, I hate that. I hate
allegedly.
Yes.
There's a missing 1.5 million.
And look, that whatever he's going to go with Nike, it appears, he's not getting a $10 million deal from them that he would have gotten before.
Nah, he would have.
It might just be we'll give you the product and you can wear it because you just an average player at this point. And the good thing is he found out quickly. This is what his second year.
Yes.
Remember Kevin Garnett lost $77 million.
Tim Duncan.
I know
Tim
Duncan. I know other players who've had friends that they brought along with them who, were taking money on the side. So at least he found out early.
Skip, I had this comment. And remember, I told you, Skip, I said, you got to be careful. I said, you be overbearing and the kids will turn up bucking and resenting their parents.
Yep.
Todd Marinovich.
I know.
When his dad became overbearing and this and yada, 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 these kids want their own identity. But it's hard for me to believe. I don't believe Big Baller was ever about the kids. Big Baller was about Lavar.
Oh,
this was him.
By the way, there's another BBB called Better Business Bureau. It still gives them an F, says ESPN. It gives them an F because they are not capable of handling online orders.
It might be hard at this point for Lonzo, but maybe a fresh start in the end is going to be a better situation.
And maybe he gets that situation resolved with Alan Foster. He gets this situation resolved with his dad. And Skip, then maybe he can be the player that you believe he can become.
Yeah, and that's what we're rooting for.
That's been an albatross on him. You got to live up to that.
Yeah, it's a lot to live up to.
No, the albatross is that My back pocket is light because allegedly somebody
That's
got
a lot
a lot of money.
Yeah,
That's $3 million because you're in California. They take 50% of your money, so somebody stole $3 million of your dollars.
He's still on that rookie deal too.
Okay, the Lakers, guys, well, they're not going to be going to the playoffs. No? But that didn't stop LeBron from putting up a little double last night. I know Shannon likes it. He's already smiling. We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Well, the Lakers' playoff hopes are officially done, but don't tell that to LeBron James. Last night, he put up 29 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists while playing 35 minutes in a win over the Kings. After the game, LeBron explained the motivation behind his big night. Take a listen.
I would never cheat myself. At the end of the day, no matter, I know we out the playoff race, but if I'm on the court, I'm going to play how I play, and I play to win. So I never would cheat the game. You know, it's such thing as called game gods, and they're watching no matter what you're doing, and it's our obligation to go out and be a professional, and that's what I'm about. It's been a long season. It's not as gone as the way we would like it, obviously, but at the end of the day, you know, we have to go out, and our fans are still showing up. So it's our obligation to go out and show them what we do in practice and film sessions, and hopefully results in wins.
Game gods. Skip Bayless is watching too. And make sure you put that dub on him, Bron.
Excuse me, Shannon.
Thank you.
Those basketball gods are always watching. Okay, Chris is still with us. And even though Shannon wanted to jump in there, Chris, I'm going to start with you. What do you make of those comments?
I think it was a little melodramatic with all the talk about the game gods and the basketball gods.
What about the game devil?
Right. But
you crossed the table from me.
For all the criticism you can level at LeBron and the meltdown against Dallas, whatever happened against Boston.
And the meltdown against Golden State.
Wait,
last year, game one, Golden State, getting mad about JR.
Yep.
For all the criticism you can level at him, one thing you cannot say is that he doesn't love the game.
Okay.
Like, and you might think everybody loves the game. In the NBA, the NFL, you got players that love the game, and you have players that like the game, or may not even like the game, but they love what it brings, the women, the fame, the fortune, all that. You know the difference because the guys that don't love the game, when they get the money or they get, some degree of success, they don't improve. For LeBron to have all the accomplishments he has on and off the court, to still be spending $1.5 million on his body, to last year have played 82 games in his 15th year, to play the minutes he played. What, he lead the league in minutes per game last year?
Last 2 or 3 years.
He does love the game. So I think he's right on the money when he says, I go out there and give it my all. Even though we're out of it, I'm giving it my all. Now, some people are going to point to, well, you're cheating the basketball guys when you don't play defense. That's just going to be a reality for LeBron James at this point.
Yeah.
In your 16th
Some
and 17th
people aren't going to say
year,
that. I'm going to say that.
right,
Go ahead.
In your 16th and 17th year, you don't have the stamina. You don't have the quickness. You don't have the lateral movement. He's not going to be getting after defensively. He's going to have to be a good team defender, communicate, and all that. But he's not. They're going to have to cover for him at times. He's not going to be a great defender. But I agree with him. And here's the last thing. Some people think he should shut it down. We know he wants to break Kareem's record. I don't know if he'll admit it. We know he wants to.
Yeah, he's going to get it.
And I have so he may be thinking I need just about every game I can get, right? He's not going to play, I guess, the second night of back-to-backs or whatever. But I have absolutely no problem with LeBron going out and playing these meaningless games as long as you're not, like, trying to score that is hurting your team. You're playing your normal game.
He is.
And I'm fine with, because everybody, Jordan, Magic, Kareem, everybody also wants individual accolades. You want to win, of course, but you also want those individual records if you're that level of player. And so I have no problem if some of this is LeBron, like, I got to try to get to Kareem. So I need to play.
He tried, he gonna get it. And LeBron James,
it's gonna be a challenge.
That's it. We love challenges. It was challenging being born to a single mother at 15, getting up out of Akron and becoming this guy. So that was a challenge. This was about to be a piece of cake. Skip Bayless. Anyway, as I was saying before,
I haven't even spoken.
No, but he has. Yeah.
You know, LeBron say the devil, the gods, the basketball gods, but there's a basketball devil that he's also talking about
The
too.
truth teller.
No, you ain't no
truth teller. Yep.
LeBron's not going to cheat anything. He's going to give you everything he has on the court. And see, he's in a very, I've never seen anything like this. If LeBron doesn't play, they're going to say, yeah, because he ain't in the playoff. He don't want to be around these guys. Right. But I bet if he's in the playoff, he'd be playing. Now he's playing. Oh, these are meaningless games. Why he playing? So how does he win? He goes out there and gives you 35 minutes. They reduced it to he's playing about 32, 33 minutes a night. Mm-hmm. He bumped it up last night because they had a chance to win the game, and they ended up winning. Yeah. But he can't win. Everybody knows LeBron is going out there giving you everything he can. A triple-double. Not going to win them all. But my thing is, if he plays, why he playing? They're out of the playoffs. I don't even know. Kobe wouldn't even play. If Jordan was out of the playoffs, they wouldn't even play. Jordan wasn't in the playoffs the last 2 years when he was at Washington. And he played all 82, didn't he, Skip? Mm-hmm. Kobe Bryant was trying to play every single game because, as Kobe said, he hate when players sit out because it's going to go by so quick and you're going to look back and like, damn.
You're going to be a young man when you retire.
And I wish I'd have played these games. So LeBron, keep on. Set the example of what a professional. There's a difference between being a pro and a professional. A professional is your occupation. A pro is how you handle your business.
Really?
And this man handles his business in the utmost and the most professional way we know how. I'm speaking directly to you.
I see that.
So after that big spill of unobjective idolatry from across the table.
Idolatry.
Look, you know what? I'm not going to pile on today. I'm not, because
What?
LeBron James has never been through this in his life. This is a first for him to have to. It's humiliating for him. I think there's some shame attached because for whatever reasons, and there are lots of valid excuses to this, lots of injuries, including his, he's having to play out a string of a team that's way out of the playoffs. Right. They aren't even fighting barely, you know, they're not even barely alive for 8. They're fighting not to finish second to last is where they're heading. So is he overreacting to this? Is he trying to say, remember, I'm still LeBron James? He is. And I give you all those points. You were eloquent in all of the points you made. There are a lot of things that are indefensible in his career, but he has played lots of minutes, and he plays hard. The last 2 years, he mostly quit playing tenacious defense. Right. Tenacious. Sometimes he'll pick his spots occasionally, but this year there have been some woeful, shameful. The game at Memphis, it's just indefensible. The game against the Clippers when Kuzma actually had to shove him to Gallinari to guard him at the three-point line. Yep. It's just so beneath the dignity of an obvious all-time great basketball player. So does that cheat the gods a little bit? Yeah, it probably does. Does he cheat it on offense or playing the right way? No, he never does. So I watched the game last night. He played hard on offense and occasionally played a little bit of defense. He plays kind of one-man zone, but he kind of.
But you saw what you call him tried to back him down.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Bagley Jr., Bagley too light to back. You can't go Braun down.
You know what's going to be interesting? Obviously got 3 years left on his deal.
Yeah.
His numbers are what they are usually.
They are.
Right? They're great.
Yeah.
If he continues, say, the next 2 years to put up these numbers, and I can't imagine they're not going to make the playoffs next year, even if they don't make changes. But say they don't make the playoffs, or they get bounced, they're a low seed, get bounced in the first round. Mm-hmm. That could damage, that could put more of a dent in his legacy than if he were to just fade away. You know, next year he averages 22 points.
Yep.
Then he's down, because then you would say, oh, he's just gotten old and, it happens. But if he continues to be dominant statistically, individually, but he can't raise the team to at least some degree of success, then some people may say, was that just the East?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because now you're in the West, your numbers are the same, you're just as dominant, but you can't even win at all, like to any level. So it's just something that is going to be interesting to watch as this moves forward.
My question is he going to have a player when he was doing all that winning that's comparable to D-Wade or Kyrie Irving in the West?
No, but I'm saying last year they got to the finals without.
Oh, yeah. But we know that was
That's
never.
all we're saying. And even in his
what did he
early
win, 50
years in
games?
Cleveland.
What did he win, 50 games last year when he got to the finals? Because I think they were the 4th seed. They were the 4th
And they
seed.
could have won more. Yeah, he was.
So what did he
able
post
to
yesterday
coach.
morning on IG?
What do you post?
Believe me! Exclamation point.
Believe it.
Promise. Hashtag Laker Nation. The spell won't last much longer. I swear. The marathon continues. Actually, the LA marathon was yesterday, and it went right by his house because it goes right down San Vicente.
Yeah, they had
right?
Wilshire blocked off.
I know, and they just wrecked traffic on the west
Yeah.
side of LA, but that marathon continued, but his goes on, I guess. I don't know which marathon he was talking about. But
Well, he's telling you he's Kipchoge.
Okay.
You know who Kipchoge is?
Do I?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, the point is, he's just saying, okay, I'm trying to remind everybody, I'm still LeBron James. He's just going to need a lot of help next year.
He'll need a lot.
Okay?
He'll need a lot.
He needs KD
little
and
bit.
Kyrie.
He needs a
That's
little
who he
bit.
needs. That's who he
He needs a little bit.
Then it's game over.
He
then you're
needs
back
that
in business.
much?
Yes, he
No.
does. I don't think Anthony Davis
Hey,
is
I don't
enough.
like a lot.
If you have to trade a whole bunch for Anthony Davis, I don't think it's going to get them.
What is a lot, Skip?
It'd be tough. It's going to be tough. I can't imagine that's not happening.
KD and
You
Kyrie?
really think KD and Kyrie?
I
is
think
a
they're
possibility?
both going somewhere. I don't know if they're
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think LeBron is he's gonna obviously get more of a rest than ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's gonna work his tail off this
better.
summer, kind of like
better.
Jordan when
He
Jordan
better.
filmed Space Jam.
Yep.
Remember, people were writing him off. Oh, they lost to Orlando.
Ooh,
And
Skip.
I don't know what he's gonna have left. I mean, he's gonna have something left, obviously, but can he go to another level in his 17th
Oh, yeah.
year?
Yeah.
But I think you're gonna see he's gonna come
Okay.
back.
Well,
special
remember
next year.
when Michael Jordan was 34, which is LeBron's age right now, he made first team all defense.
Skip Bayless. Will
And
you
won a
stop doing
scoring
Skip?
title.
That's not Skip.
He had
When
a
he
lot
was
fewer
chronological
mileage,
age,
lot less
34 to
mileage.
34.
And LeBron and Michael Jordan was in year 13.
Lot less mileage. 2 of those years were.
And you remember he was
17
home.
games.
And you remember, no, he came back in 95 with 15 games left.
Right.
That ain't none of my business.
And his second year, he was.
In the second year, he was hurt and he played about 10 games.
How much does
17
LeBron
games.
spend on his fitness? What, billions of dollars?
Man, don't be a man. You know what he spent.
Well,
How much
way.
you think MJ spent?
I don't know. He and Tim Grover, boy, they had that
$45.
breakfast club every morning.
He spent
Things
more.
would have been
paid
different,
Tim.
though.
He spent more money on cigars and brown
was
liquor
just
than he
gonna
did in
say.
training.
Well,
Don't know if
maybe
they knew
LeBron
better.
should cut the cigars and the wine.
No, he shouldn't.
Maybe he should.
That vino good stuff.
That's his favorite
I done
thing.
picked it up.
It's his
I'll be
one
having me a
vice.
glass of vino.
Are you really?
No.
No, but if you were with LeBron, you
about to say, I don't
I could
believe
see
that.
that. Either way, the extra time off, though, Chris, you bring up a
And
good
he's
point.
gonna work hard.
This is
I think he's
a
gonna work
new
hard.
But
time
we gonna be
for him.
training.
He's gonna
That-
come back.
I'm gonna be right there with him. I ain't telling you nothing.
I need
Okay.
some videos of you guys
No,
training
I ain't. We
together.
go this thing undercover.
Okay.
going deep
All right,
undercover.
you let us know how it goes. Moving on, is Gronk the greatest tight end ever? We're going to discuss that with James Harrison next.
This thing gonna be Manhattan Project secrets.
No mercy.
Tom Brady's favorite target has left the building. Rob Gronkowski announced his retirement on Instagram yesterday, thanking the organization, Bill Belichick, and the fans in New England. Gronk was a 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, and won 3 Super Bowls. Only Randy Moss and Jerry Rice had more touchdown receptions before turning 30. We're joined by FS1 NFL analyst James Harrison. Good to have you back with us.
Good morning.
But I will start with Shannon on this because you were a pretty good tight end yourself. Incredible, Shannon. So when you think about Gronk, is he really the greatest tight end ever?
I'm going to have to say no. I believe he's the most dominant tight end of all time. But I just think the fact that he played 9 years, and you can be great in those times, but I think he missed the equivalent of 2 seasons. And I think that hurt him. And Skip, you remember you and I had this conversation in 2016. We were in New York getting ready for a fight, the Conor McGregor fight. And
I thought we were going to have a fight over this.
Okay, you were shocked. I said if he can put together, Skip, some years in which he stays healthy throughout the entirety of the season.
You did.
I believe he can go down as the greatest
What
tight
you
end
said.
ever.
My mouth
And you like
fell down.
better.
Yeah.
He tried to be slick. Oh, better than Shannon Sharpe? Yes, Skip, he could be.
Better than Shannon Sharpe?
He's on the short list because I think the thing that he has that a lot of other guys that's Tony Gonzalez, 1 playoff win. Antonio Gates, I think he has like 2 or 3 playoff wins. The guys that are in the Hall of Fame, they didn't have the kind of playoff success that Gronk enjoyed. I had playoff success. Gronk had playoff success. And I think that factors into it. Now, and everybody's going to say, well, you look at these guys' numbers. Some of these guys have 100 touchdowns and 1,000 catches. Okay. But at what point in time is the playoff? I thought we played for playoffs, or we playing for stats now. So for me, Skip, he's the most dominant. If he could have had another year, 2 years is a lot of games to be missed.
It is.
If he plays 9 years and instead of missing 29, 30 games, he missed 10, now you're going to see the guy has another, he probably has another 15 touchdowns. So now he's in the 90 touchdowns in under a decade. So with that being said, I'm going to say he's the most dominant. He's on the short list. And with a few guys at the table, it might be just me and him.
Wait,
He coming to the room, might be just me and him.
Am I hearing you say that you're now better because you played
I ain't better.
longer?
No.
Yes, you did.
I said it's a short list.
Okay.
Okay, but now you got to say who is the greatest.
Skip.
Whoa, wait a minute.
It all depends.
We
I
can't
wanna
let you
know.
get away with this.
It all depends. If you in San Diego, you probably gonna say it's Gates or
Okay?
Kelly.
I'm not in San Diego.
Where
what are you
were
going to
you?
tell me?
What you want to tell who the best? You looking at it. You work with him every day.
Hey, say
you
it.
just been
Say
working
it.
with the guy for
Say
3
it.
years.
Then just say it. I'm okay if you say it.
Well, you should have been
I'll
okay.
laugh, but
I say Tony Gonzalez.
Do you really?
James is
I say
honest.
Tony Gonzalez.
For what? What the criteria? With one playoff
Yeah.
game?
Like you said, the man played. Your longevity determines some of your greatness too.
Okay.
Now he played for a long time.
He
And
did.
got one playoff win.
It's not. He didn't have Tom Brady as a quarterback.
But he had Tom Brady.
He didn't have Ray Lewis and all them on the defense.
Hey, nobody said
I
that
mean,
when he
come
was
on.
catching. When nobody complained about those quarterbacks when he was catching 100 passes a year.
I'm just saying it's Gonzalez. You're in the argument. Don't get me wrong. Gates can be in the argument, but I'm with you. I feel like Gronk is the most dominant tight end
Yeah,
that we've
he's no
seen,
question.
but the fact that he didn't get an extra 2 or 3 years, I think that hurt him being the greatest ever. His numbers speak for themselves in those 9 years.
And then the
It's
playoffs.
great. The playoffs is unbelievable. But to say that he's the greatest tight end ever, I might have to get at the Gonzalez.
Really?
That's what I said. Skip, I'm like you. Really?
We got one vote for Sharpe and one vote for Gonzalez.
Well, I already know. Oh, home team. I know what you.
I'm voting for Shannon.
Oh, 2-1. It's over.
Obviously.
It's over.
Oh,
Just make it a fight. Come on over here.
Obviously.
Come on over here.
I'm not coming over there. I'm just going on eye test. And by the way, Gronk didn't play like 2 seasons. If he played 2 seasons, we'd be saying, well, we don't have enough body of work. He did play 9 years.
Yes.
And you make the point he missed the equivalent of 2 years, so maybe 7 full seasons.
Yeah.
I'm still saying that qualifies for greatest ever. And if I just look at the numbers, now, again, he made it 9 years. You made it 14. Gonzalez made it 17 years, which is, okay, I give you longevity because that's highly impressive. Tony was blessed, man,
Yeah.
to be able to go that
I think he
long.
only missed 1 game.
Yeah.
I think he missed 1 game in 17
And he
years.
still looks like he could play, you know, like, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, 29 games. That's equivalent
Okay.
to 2 years. That'll give
Okay,
you more time.
so think about this. So Gronk managed to play 115 games to your 204. That's 89 more games that you played.
Yeah.
Tony played 270. So 270 to 115 for Gronk is, you know, like he more than doubled him in games played. Yards, receiving yards per game. What did Gronk average for his regular season career? 68 receiving yards per game.
Yeah.
Shannon averaged 49, and Tony was a little better at 56, but it wasn't 68.
Right. Okay.
Over that time,
Right.
that time span, 68 is highly impressive. Okay? All right, so now let's look at playoffs. When you make your money, when you make your rep, when you make your Hall of Fame statement, right? Okay, Gronk played 16 postseason games to your 18, which is highly impressive. You were in the right place at the right time, right? And Tony only 7. So there your argument starts to fall because he only won 1, but he played in 7.
What?
Okay.
That's it?
I know. So in 16 postseason games, Gronk caught 73 balls to your 45. So you played 2 more games and he caught 73 to your 45. Tony caught 41 and 7, which is still pretty impressive. But if we look at what did you do in touchdowns?
I was a touchdown guy.
Gronk, yeah, I thought you were a big play Shay.
That's it,
okay,
no.
so Gronk
Big plays.
in
Well,
16
Close,
playoff
touchdown.
games. Think about this. Gronk had 12 touchdowns in 16 games. That's second only to Jerry Rice, who had 22 postseason.
Right.
But he, again, John Stallworth from your Steelers is tied with him at 12. Okay, Shannon had 4 and Tony had 4 touchdown catches in the postseason. Not great.
But Skip,
but again,
I played,
you got rings. You got 3
but no,
rings.
the difference is you have to look at what I played with. I played in a running era.
Okay.
Look at all the 1,000-yard rushers. Tony only blocked for 2,000. Not Tony. Gronk only had two 1,000-yard rushers. Only one guy went over 1,200. I had a rookie go over 1,200.
He was playing with the GOAT, Brady.
That's why I like to look at numbers and longevity because I like to.
I mean, them 1,000-yard rushers mean something. I got a 2,000. I got 10 times in 14 years. The guy behind O'Shea. Oh, he couldn't block, but all I know, the guy that lined up in the backfield got over 1,000.
Who would you say was the greatest athlete of all time, though?
Athlete?
Athlete.
Of all time?
All time.
What's your point?
Just my thing is this: Bo Jackson, I think, is the greatest athlete of all time, but he only got 3 years of playing NFL football, and he got time.
You know what? I'm with you on Dion.
I'm going Dion.
You go with Dion.
I go with Dion.
Come on,
but I play. But you got to.
Bo was hitting home runs like Barry Bonds before Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson was a 225-pound man running the 4.3 before they knew what a 4.3 was.
Oh, he was special. Now you got no getting.
He only got 3 years. Now, if he had longevity with that, both sports.
Bo for me was a little stiff. Like Dion wasn't stiff.
No.
Dion made All-State in basketball in Florida, which was not easy.
I was in the same division as Bo when Bo was just, moonlight.
Grown man trying to side tackle.
Yeah, he was.
Come on.
I give you an example. Would you say Gale Sayers is the greatest running back?
I don't know. It's just so debatable.
It's hard.
I think Eric Dickerson's great. That's just me.
I mean, look at people like Barry. Okay. Barry only played 10 years, but you having 1,500 yards a season.
Yep.
That's got to be worth something, isn't it?
Question.
Huh.
But you know what, Skip? You know what? I don't even like to pat myself on the back.
You know what?
Just did. I don't like to do that.
Hugely.
You know what? I'm gonna pass it off. I've had my.
That's why I couldn't say it was you because I knew it was just inflate your ego so
You know what I'm saying, Skip? I'm gonna pass it off. You know what?
Another segment.
I'm gonna let Gronk. I'm gonna let Gronk have it. I'm gonna let him have his moment. He retired. This is not about me. Gronk for the day. Gronk's the greatest. Now tomorrow we'll have this discussion. O'Shea gonna be back in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So who did more and less? It's Gronk like a runaway, right?
Yes.
But Skip, you have to understand, how many 100-yard rushers did Gronk have? Think about it. TD.
Okay.
TD had, at 8 games I played with TD in the playoffs, 7 of them, he went for 100 plus. And I ain't talking about no 105.
Look, this is my bottom line. And I watched your whole career.
Yes.
And you were all-time great. I give you that.
Take the first 3 years out, Skip, because I wasn't. I was a special team.
But when you arrived, you really arrived.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yet, when I'm watching Gronk, my eye test would tell me that's the best because that's unstoppable.
Yeah, Skip, but you
Bigger,
got the
faster.
the rules.
Okay.
Look at the rules. You can't do anything with them.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they couldn't touch me after 5 yards? They couldn't hold me. They couldn't illegal contact me. You couldn't touch the quarterback.
And you had Tom Brady.
I'll take 7. Give me 7 because 7 going to be able to throw that ball deep. I like big touchdowns.
What if you
don't even want
What
time,
if you even cared about blocking?
You see them 2,000?
This guy's really good.
TD got an MVP.
Yeah, how'd that happen?
Me blocking.
Mark Schlereth happened, and that whole line, that was the best offensive line in football.
So what? So they was out there playing with 10 players, huh?
Well, I think you were just like a
They said
slot
you was.
receiver.
I was just in the way.
Shadowing. They said you was a big slot.
Okay, Skip.
You once got in Mark's way, and what did he do? He broke your eyesight.
No. Mark didn't know where he was going. Mark was pulling blind.
Yeah.
He couldn't see. You see how he be squinting when he come out here?
Then you couldn't see.
Yeah, exactly. You
Good
see how he
news,
come out
though.
here?
I get the final word around here, and Shannon, you're the
Oh,
best in my
yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
I mean, come on.
Come on, Skip.
Not even a debate.
No.
Either way.
What you mean, come on?
Gotta help
Wrong.
about what we can.
Wrong.
We have a lot to get to
He
when it comes
disqualified
to
'cause
the
he had Brady.
Steelers, and thankfully we've got James here to talk about everything that's
Here we
going
go.
on with that team
Yep.
next.
No mercy.
Well, the very public breakup of the Killer Bees has left the Steelers pointing fingers. Both Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell said that the way the organization treated Big Ben played a role in their unhappiness. Well, General Manager Kevin Colbert said this weekend that all the talk around Ben is just, quote, white noise, and the team is comfortable with Ben as the quarterback and leader. Former Steeler James Harrison is still with us. Well, James, how much is Ben to blame for the Steelers' problems?
I don't think a lot of the blame goes on Ben because, you have Antonio saying something and you have, Le'Veon saying something. So I think your opinion of a person is built on the relationship that you have with that person. So my relationship with Ben is a good relationship. I think Ben is a good leader. That's my opinion. To them, they may not have that same relationship. And to that saying, your lack of in the relationship will build what you think or what you perceive to be what you're looking at, what may not actually, be what it is.
Right.
So your perception is actually built from that too. And the fact that you don't have a more in-depth relationship with that person leads you to believe that it may be something different. So for them, with their speaking, that is their truth. For me, I think Ben is a good leader. I know Ben a little more in depth than they do, obviously, because they felt like they needed to build a better relationship with their quarterback, and their quarterback needed to build a better relationship with them. With that being said, both sides have to initiate something if you want that to go on. So it's fought on them and it's fought on Ben as far as them not getting the relationship that they want. You could do something as simple as, saying, let's set a, you don't want to go out to the club, let's set a dinner. Every Tuesday we get together for dinner. We sit there, we talk, we may watch film or whatever to try and build some type of bond or relationship. If that's what it is, you feel like it's going to help you out.
Did you recommend that to Antonio or Le'Veon?
No, I didn't. I actually talked to Ben, and everyone has their own characteristics of how they deal with things, how they interact with people, and whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, it is what it is. And he was talking to me, and we were talking about what he felt like he could do to try and bond the relationship, or try and just at least get a common ground to where they could talk. And I'm like, you can try and reach out and do whatever it is, but at the end of the day, if someone doesn't want to communicate, then they're not going to communicate. And I think, like a few guys have said, the perception of Ben being above everyone else, that's what it looks like because of how he's treated in the organization. And to some guys, not being able to go up and talk to him, they feel maybe intimidated that they can't do that. Or they feel that if they do something wrong, that he has the power to, maybe, put limitations on, their career. And that's not true. I've never known Ben to do anything like that. Or have I heard him, from anybody in the organization like that saying that he has tried to do that.
So, Shannon, he says he's a good leader. You have been very critical of him, and you don't think he's a good leader.
I do not, because I think the thing is that when they had their best success, is that he was not asked to be the leader. Jerome Bettis and Hines Ward and Joey Porter and Troy Polamalu, James Harris. It was, and the thing is, too much is given, much is required. And for being good leaders, don't immediately after the game, Antonio Brown, I threw an interception. Yes, I did. But Antonio Brown ran the route short. And then you remember that play on third down that I had James Washington? He's got to make that catch. That's not what leaders do. Leaders don't say, well, even when Le'Veon Bell comes back, James Conner should not lose any touches. That's not for Ben to decide. Ben is not the coach. And they're looking at Ben like, Ben, you're talking like you're the coach. You're trying to make decisions as if you're the coach, and you're not. I believe that Antonio Brown, now, I've been on record, documented. Antonio Brown is at fault here too. He has a lot of faults that which he could have done things differently. I don't get why they're upset at Le'Veon. Le'Veon just refused to sign the franchise tag because he's like, I'm not going to let y'all put this amount of carries on my body again. And for some reason, he became selfish. Once Le'Veon wanted to do what was right for Le'Veon, he became a selfish ball player. I never heard the offensive line say Le'Veon was selfish as long as he was running behind him, getting 1,400 yards, becoming an all-pro. It was the moment that he said, you know what, guys? I see what y'all doing here, Steelers. Y'all gonna make me play this contract out, franchise me again, and then tell me, okay, go find you another team.
You said that Ben can't make those calls because he's not the head guy. He can't say this, he can't say that. So how can you put all of that fault on Ben when he's not the head guy? You have to put that on the head coach. You bring a head coach in there to lead everyone. I can't as a defensive captain make a rule for this team and have it go and follow it without the head coach saying that that's what it's going to be. So it has to start from
Mike
the top.
Tomlin's at fault too. Mike Tomlin he let it get here.
Okay.
But I'm not so sure how if he wasn't handcuffed, considering the way Kevin Colbert's talking and considering how the Roonies have reacted, I'm sure when they probably went to Mike Tomlin with this, he said, y'all need to take that upstairs. This is out of my hands. There's a lot of things that could have been handled differently. But all I know is that there are two guys, and you're right. The way you view someone is shaped through the relationship that you cultivated with someone. But it's hard for me to believe because 6 straight 100-catch seasons, average of 1,200 yards, average of 8 touchdowns, all-pro this. Le'Veon, how did it get so bad so soon?
Who's saying it got bad? That's what you're saying. You're saying that all of a sudden it's got bad.
Antonio said it got bad.
I'm not saying it got bad all of a sudden.
Wait, it was
the
always
thing
bad?
that happened is who's saying it wasn't there before?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay? This could have been there before. I'm on the outside looking in right now, but if the Steelers are winning, no one's sitting there trying to wonder, how are the Steelers winning? What's going on?
Right.
You start losing, and losing uncovers a lot. So now you start dropping games. You're like, what's going on? So now what do? You pick and point to anything that they can find. Who's saying this wasn't going on for the last 3, 4, 5 years?
Oh, I believe there was an underlying thing. But here's what I'm saying. Think about this. The Steelers started the season 7-2-1. And no one mentioned Le'Veon Bell. The moment they started losing, Le'Veon Bell was a distraction. Le'Veon Bell being selfish. What Le'Veon got to do with this? You was fine with that. You didn't even mention Le'Veon when you were 7-2-1.
This is mostly about Antonio Brown, and you know him very well. In fact, I could make the case you know him as well as anybody on that team over the last 5, 6 years knows him, right? Okay. I liked what you said about it's their truth. Your truth is Ben's a good leader. But Antonio's truth is he's a bad leader. He criticized me. He called me out. He called out James Washington, that he's got too much power. I'm afraid of how much power he has. That's his truth.
Yes.
Okay? So he wanted out, and he successfully, bully for him, he talked his way right out of Pittsburgh.
Right.
And he talked his way into a pretty good situation in Oakland, I think, for him. And he got more money, which is shockingly great to me. Like, he pulled that off. You got to give him, okay, way to go.
He had 2 years left with no money and got an extra year with more money.
So he got it. And I don't know if you've talked to him recently, but he's got to be pretty happy with that.
Definitely.
But I'm telling you that you were blessed because you got to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. How many years was it?
14.
14 years, and then you got to finish with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. That's pretty great. So your whole path was blessed. Your path was pretty blessed. I believe Antonio's going to wake up mid-season next year and think, I kind of miss it in Pittsburgh because it's a great place to play football. Despite all this stuff going on, it's still great. Oh, yeah. It's a great heritage. It's a great
Were you there with that first Super Bowl when they went in 2005?
Yeah.
So you was there for both Super Bowls. Have you seen the evolution in Ben? Was Ben like he is right now back then?
No. People change. I'm not the same person, that I was at 30 that I am now at 40. I wasn't the same person at 20 that I was at 30 and so on and so forth. Good, bad, that's up to the individual. I think I'm a better person, now than I was 10 years ago.
How'd you treat people when you before you became Defensive Player of the Year and a Pro Bowl and All-Pro, how did you treat players?
I treated players the same way I do now. It's just that the perception of me as far as until you get to know me is, he's crazy, he's out of control. If you get to know me, you're like, James is one of the nicest people I ever met.
Right.
No, he's crazy and he's out of control. Right?
But, I just think the thing is that when you're not asked to be a leader and things go well, and then all of a sudden that's an awful lot to be a leader of a team.
Okay.
And to get people to follow. Skip, I don't care what Kevin Colbert says. This is not elementary school. You can't say, okay, Jenny's in front and follow Jenny. Okay. That's not how it works in the locker room.
And people don't respond to that.
No.
I'm going to say this one last time. Ben Roethlisberger has been called out. He is on the hot seat going into next year, and I think he's going to have a monster year next year because I think he had a really good year last year. And now the Shannon Sharps of the world are going to drive him to say, okay, watch this.
Either way. Yeah. James, it was good to get your take on all this. Appreciate you being here and your honesty.
I see my homeboy working out regular, though.
Did the Cowboys, what are you talking about?
Pat, my homeboy.
Okay. We're talking about the Cowboys next, Shannon.
Oh, my goodness.
Did they make a big addition this weekend?
No.
We'll see what these two think next.
No mercy.
And the Dallas Cowboys finally have their safety. With Earl Thomas off the market, Dallas signed former Viking and Bengal George Iloka, the 28-year-old. Has 9 interceptions in his career. Skip's already saying yes. He's saying yes, but Shannon. Let's get your take. How much will he help Dallas?
Not at all.
Not at all?
That's like pouring a block of salt. That's like putting a block of salt in the Dead Sea. When it has that much hey, it doesn't mean nothing.
It's salt water.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
Exactly.
I get it.
Nothing. The guy has, in 9 years, or 7 years, he has 9 interceptions.
That's pretty good, actually.
You really, Skip Bayless?
I don't know.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Better than what I got now.
No, it's not. Jeff Heath. Hold on. You like Jeff Heath.
We won the division with Jeff Heath starting at safety
You
last
told me that he picked off the great Aaron Rodgers
year. He
twice.
did. That was in 2016 in a playoff game.
Oh, and you want
one of
George?
them got canceled because of a silly pass interference on another player.
He was in Minnesota. His first career started off in Cincinnati. He went last year to Minnesota. He was supposed to replace Sendejo when he got hurt, but he got supplanted by Harris. So, Anthony Harris, 16 tackles in 16 games. Was he a starting safety or a special teams player? Because 16 tackles in 16 games is not very good. And 9 interceptions in 7 seasons, and you think he's going to move the needle?
That was a loaded defense in Minnesota. He couldn't break through, couldn't break in.
The ball should be just flying around. You should just be getting picks all over the place.
So, is George Iloka Earl Thomas? Well, obviously he is not. But Earl Thomas got the sun and the moon to go to Baltimore, so he was way out of our price range. Is George Iloka an upgrade over Jeff Heath? You better believe he is.
No, I don't believe he is.
You realize he's 6'4", 225, only 28 years of age, and in Cincinnati, all I know is every time I looked up, George Iloka, was laying wood on people.
Iloka. No.
He is a hitter.
Skip,
he's going to bring a new ferocity to that
Jeff
defense.
Heath is a hitter.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you wanted somebody to take
swing and misser too.
I thought you wanted somebody to take the ball away.
He will. He'll be causing fumbles. He'll be breaking up passes. He'll be doing things.
He's stiff, Skip.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
I like his attitude. I like it that he went to Boise State because all of a sudden my defense is the Boise State Cowboys because we got them everywhere. We got DeMarcus Lawrence on one end, and we got Tyrone Crawford on the other end, and we got the Wolf Hunter, Leighton Vander Esch at linebacker. We got George Iloka at safety, and that kid they have, that Darian Thompson, was a third-round pick of the Giants. He's now a backup safety. He might be starting with Iloka before it's all over, and you might have 2 more from Boise State.
All you got is a bunch of guys from Boise State.
Yeah, I have my offensive coordinators from Boise State, Kellen Moore.
And we'll miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
All those guys from Boise State.
We just loaded up. We just made a really smart, cost-effective signing.
That's all the money you have.
Iloka.
That's all the money you have.
This way, we can keep everybody happy, including George Iloka.
See, you know what I love? Oh, look at this, what I bought. No, you bought that because you know why? You didn't have money to get the other. That's why you got that. You didn't have the money for Earl Thomas. You didn't have the money for Eric Weddle. That's why you settled for George Iloka. Don't be trying to tell the fans, oh, we wanted him over Earl Thomas.
I didn't say that.
Wanted him over.
Is he an upgrade over Jeff Heath?
Shannon
Sharpe?
No.
Oh, so now you're a Jeff Heath
I love
fan.
Jeff Heath.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now you're getting scared.
Yeah. I love Jeff
I don't know if I've ever heard you
And
say
by the
that.
way, a couple other bargain signings was that Kerry Hyder, who was in Detroit. One time he was the Gruden grinder before a game, Detroit at Dallas in Dak's rookie year.
Yeah.
He was a sack artist in Detroit. Seriously.
And Detroit let him go.
Bargain basement.
And they let him go.
They did.
Why?
He'll rejuvenate himself in Dallas.
Really? Is that where people go to rejuvenate their
And we
careers?
signed yet another tight end.
Who?
With a weird background named Cody McElroy, who played college basketball at Oklahoma State. Then he played professional baseball, and now he's going to break through in pro football.
I thought you had enough of basketball
Rico
players.
Oh, he likes it.
Rico is still on the roster.
Well, you did have one that turned out to be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Big Cat Rayfield. Rayfield Wright was a basketball
That
player.
was a long time
And
ago.
that was.
Yep. Gil Brandt had a bunch of those.
As long as you're feeling optimistic.
Skip, he's feeling optimistic anyway.
No, I like this. This is what you had to do. We couldn't touch Earl Thomas.
You could have.
He couldn't get him.
Skip, you pay for what you get what you
My
pay for.
defense just keeps getting a little bit better.
No, how they get better?
You're getting a little more scared.
I just want to know, how would George Iloka has this defense gotten better?
He's just better than Jeff Heath. He's been there and done all that. He started 79 games in the National Football League.
Tell you what I do.
He played on really good Bengals teams, playoff teams.
I bet you a 12-pack of individual 16-ounce dudes that he don't beat George Heath out for the starting job.
George Heath or Jeff Heath?
Jeff Heath.
If he can beat out George Heath, because I don't know him.
I bet he don't beat out Jeff Heath. He does not beat out Jeff Heath for the starting job. George Iloka.
Starting lineup?
He will not. Day one, Jeff Heath will be the starting strong safety.
Okay, I'll take it.
Oh, that's a big one. All right.
That's a shame, Skip Bayless. You so desperate.
I'm so
smile. He doesn't look
wait a
desperate.
minute.
You desperate.
I'm so
Yes.
desperate. You're the one who's desperate. You're down 35 cases.
You wanted him to start so
you
bad.
even lost a single bottle.
I
too.
did.
We're going
I
to
get
settle
back
this in the commercial, and then we're going to
got
talk about this. Did we see the greatest buzzer beater in NBA history yesterday? We will show you next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. Jeremy Lamb of the Hornets hit this shot from half court to beat the Raptors last night. The 48-foot shot was the second longest buzzer beater in the NBA in the last 20 years. Shannon, how impressive was that shot?
I mean, if it happened against somebody else, I probably would have been more excited. But it happened against, my Raptors, and I
Your
like
Raptors?
It was unbelievable. This shot had no business going in. The guy makes a great play. He pokes the ball away. Lamb has to go back, and he just turns around and heaves it up, Skip.
Insane.
But these guys practice these shots a lot before and after practice. And you're like, why are they practicing shots like that? It's never going to come into a play. And lo and behold, it came into play. And it keeps their slim playoff hopes alive.
It was lucky. He banked it in. Was he aiming to bank it in? Does he practice the bank?
He was trying to put it up and like, look here. If it's long and I got it on target, it'll hit the bank and go in.
Oh,
if I
really?
got it straight on the point, it'll go swish it.
Oh, what if it hits the back iron? Then you were a little off? Your aim was a little off?
He was, I think he was a mathematics major at UConn.
Okay.
Smart.
So it was the highest arcing shot I think I've ever seen in my
That
life.
is true.
He shot it into the rafters. I've never seen anything like it
Because he got to
before.
get it up there, Skip.
Well,
That's a
I
long
know,
way.
and I was impressed with the strength required because to
True.
set shot that ball from half court is hard.
I mean, LeBron would have just did that.
LeBron can do that.
like a regular shot.
He would have done that, but his feet would have been on the floor. You can't jump shoot that.
Yeah, but don't worry about it.
LeBron's turned into kind of a set shooter.
Hey, and you see him letting them threes fly last night?
Yeah, he did.
But that was a good shot. That was the best shot this year.
It was the luckiest shot this year.
Skip, that was the best. Oh, you should be happy.
Fun
because
to
it
see.
beat number two's team.
Okay.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.